Ah. Why is my camera frozen? That ain't right. That ain't right at all. One moment, please. All right, there we go. Not sure what that was about. That was a weird problem. It was a new problem. All right, so I know it says bangers only. And in before some pleb comes in here and is like, Monty, these are not bangers, as I watch C9 versus 100 Thieves and SK versus BDS. But these are the new games that we have, and I haven't seen them yet, and I have to watch them before SI tonight. So suck it up, is what I'm saying. Okay, pen's working. Very good.
Weren't able to kind of quite reach that level in playoffs, but coming into summer, they haven't really been playing to the level that I think they were hoping for.
Yeah, you remember back to regular
100 Thieves are giga bums. I hate them, so we will hate watch 100 Thieves.
First team all-pro mid alongside MVP Quid in mid lane, and then it just kind of fell apart once they got into playoffs. So hopefully 100 Thieves has been cooking over that break.
And I think this is actually a really important game for both Sniper and Thanatos. When you think about rookie, we've had 4 rookies of the year so far since we switched away from the split model. Okay. 2 of those only.
I don't have my coffee. So hold up. Crisis averted. All right. Okay, so we're on 14-14. Remember, they're on the live patch. So Tristana is up, even though Q actually costs mana now. We have 2 ADC bans for Berserker, Ashe and Ezreal. Sniper's not really going to first pick Riven here.
Okay. What would you like to see the most?
All right, so Azir, Leona, and K. Sante. Oh, God, it's another fucking Renekton pick. At least they have Renekton in Italy, so maybe they can snowball this, especially because they have pressure, hopefully, in the mid lane as well. And Berserker back on his classic Zeri. Poppy jungle does prevent Italy engage. Kind of questionable, though, I think. Cassante Poppy is much worse in the 2v2 than Nidalee Renekton.
And there's 5 any chance mid, and I think they don't.
Alistair, so Leona, Kaisa. Or is Kaisa as a late game Zeri counter? They don't really have another way to get onto Zeri, though, which could be a problem. They banned Nautilus.
I mean,
Yeah, there's double
things done early.
And Kai'Sa early game, so you just need to make sure that Drake is all the
Time to watch 100 bums fail.
Doesn't have opportunity to sneak it, and then at 6 minutes you just go to grabs, start stacking the grabs. You need to make sure you get the second round of grabs as well, and try to get your Renekton ahead somehow.
Okay. All right. So vision over the bottom side played.
Meta for a while, kind of fallen out of priority, in the green room, and it's like, whether or not the Triss changes should matter that much for Pro, because for solo queue is a 5% win rate nerf, which is like an enormous nerf. And I thought it was going to really make a big difference, for Pro as well. But, if you're not actually trading constantly, if you're not forced to use that Q often on cooldown, then it's not really a big difference, because you do get 100 more base mana. It costs 50, it used to cost 0. But, maybe this Azir could be something that could actually trade aggressively constantly with that Triss and try to force Tristana to use that Q more than she would like, which could make those mana nerfs more impactful. So, it could be interesting to see how this lane does actually end up going.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, we have Grasp Azir in this one. Looks like he really wants to go in, potentially to the back line to deal with Zeri and Trist. Not really sure if Grasp is good in this particular circumstance, because if you have both, this just signals that they're trying to go all in with Azir and Kaisa, which means that if they go in the back line, they could just get dead really fast, and then there's no damage on 100 Thieves, so I think it feels weird.
You were talking about how they should be able to have priority, they should be able to have control around here, so C9 will have to watch for that. Let me ask you the opposite side of the question that I asked earlier. If you're the
Bash 1414, bye-bye Warmog's Rush. First supports.
Nice and early, or is there more to it?
I think you are not forced to.
I mean, that was a pretty bullshit part of the pro meta, though, so I can't say I'm unhappy to see, Warmog's first dominance going away. It just made, like, if one team had Warmogs on jungle and support, the other team didn't, like, super impactful around Drakes and Barons.
I think they're just outscaling hard, so they are not forced to make some crazy.
Why bye-bye Warmog's Rush? They increased the minimum bonus HP that you need in order to start proccing the health regen passive. So you can't just do it off of, like, support item and Warmogs anymore.
Proactive. I think being reactive is great in a game like this.
The advantages of scaling, man. All right, so Thanatos with control over the top side, pretty much as you would expect. Scuttle Crab's about to spawn as our junglers are on opposite sides of the map. Blabber is going to step forward here, not go any further into that enemy jungle, instead just deciding to keep the tempo maxed, going after the crab, and you'll see River descending on the other one around the same time.
And you can see JoJo was actually, he was losing out on some of the trades early, but like he's just fighting the wave, and he goes Cole second, he TPs back immediately, like he is just looking to just fight the wave here. River though showing up mid.
Yeah, as soon as JoJo uses that TP to return to lane, River wants to put the pressure on him. Steadfast presence for the extra little bit of move speed to get past that spear.
Yeah, and they're going to try to force out this TP here from Quid.
The thing is, for junglers, though, it was never really,
make sure that Blabber couldn't interrupt that recall with,
it was never
with
Warmog's Rush, it was like Zeke's convergence. It was Zeke's convergence into Warmog's.
Battle for the chickens on the red side as River is winning the HP war against Blabber on this Nidalee. JoJo trying to step up.
You have 1,500 bonus health, though, and Zeke's is only 300. Plus the 1,000 from Warmog, so I don't think you can even second item it on junglers anymore, on Sejuani at least.
To go down to the bot scuttle, so River's going to be able to take that as a little bit of a scrap going.
How do you even get prawns here in the state? It's all called shrimp.
It didn't even feel like as much of a scrap as it was just
I
in the gut coming out.
don't know how to answer that question. They're the same thing. Just get big shrimp.
But at the same time, River now finally securing that bottom side scuttle crab here. The game very even in these first.
Hope you're well.
5
Hope you're well
minutes.
too,
We haven't really
Shane
seen anybody
Watson.
pull out super far ahead. The scoreboard obviously obviously has blue numbers all across it, but none of them even.
Prawns
total
are
100, so
freshwater?
it's not like you can really write home about it just yet.
They
Look
are?
at that wave. The wave is actually horrible for Sniper. Sniper is down a couple CS, but there's way more for Thanatos to farm. So Sniper faked his recall. He was looking to try to fully push this out. But if Thanatos, has his
Shrimp
buy,
and
he's
prawns
keeping
can be
back,
found in
he
both
can actually
salt
hold the
and
wave. I
freshwater.
don't think he will be able to, but he can hold the wave off.
Most
Could be
prawns
pretty
live in
bad for Sniper.
freshwater.
Finds
But
a
not
good
all.
ruthless predator
Don't wanna
combo
take
there
too
on
much minion
Sniper,
damage.
just trying to force him all the way back. Yeah, you don't want to eat half your health bar to these minions.
Oh, I mean, you can
Sniper
get
will
the.
retreat all the way back
First
into
off,
the
I think they're
jungle.
pretty
Yeah, he's gonna hold it, though, 'cause his next wave
substitutable.
came, so this full wave is going to be denied.
But I've
The
seen
next
a
wave
bunch
after
of
that
prawns
so far,
in
so you have to really
supermarkets.
thin out this wave, I think, to be able to hold it, but it does get pretty awkward for Sniper.
But they're pretty
Sniper is now in
interchangeable,
this kind of
honestly.
little disadvantageous position where he has to reset that wave, and you're
They're pretty interchangeable.
Italy's going to be back out on the map, so
I wouldn't
that's
worry too much
always
about
one of those
that.
scary points in the game. And I'm kind of curious, Inspired. When you're playing with Bo, how much kind of communication are there in between you guys in an early stage like this? When you're playing something like Renekton in Italy, like how much of a focus is there on the wave state to try to set up these ganks?
I think around the 6 minute mark, you shouldn't really look for that many gank opportunities. I think, oh, there's a little poke in the mid lane.
Yeah, lots of
Okay,
players
we're
coming
just
in
gonna
from both
contest
sides.
here
Once
around
again,
grubs
Jungle
very
ready to show up
briefly.
mid as Blabber misses the spear on River. So
Don't
he's
think
gonna
Henry Thieves can
continue
actually
walking
do
away.
this.
The first grub was
You're gonna
already
lose-
secured by the Nidalee,
lose
but now it
the
seems that
Poke
100
battle
Thieves
over
are the
time.
ones
Renekton's already in
controlling
river.
topside
What is
River.
the 100
C9
Thieves
still ready to
doing?
contest River, tackling forward, going
We
after
used
Blabber, but now
E
he's gotta try to get
stupidly.
right back
River
away.
used E. He
Thanatos
doesn't have
is
E
making his way
now.
in the fight, and Ayla's now the target here for C9.
So they have to use
Flashing
Flash
back
in
out
order
with
to get
Ignite
Ayla
on.
out.
Jojo also very, very low here. No teleport available on that Trist. He's got 30% HP and almost no mana to work with. 100 Thieves control the top side River.
Well, honestly, I'm surprised that 100 Thieves comes up on top here. Because as you said, Renekton was in a great position in the lane. I thought he would
Yeah,
be
it's very
taking
surprising,
this-
actually,
this
they're coming out on
skirmish,
top.
but, 100 Thieves manages to poke them while going out.
How many missed
Tackling
spears
forward,
were there,
going after
though?
Blabber, but now the first grub
He
was
also
already secured by the
dives
Nidalee, but
into
now it
Poppy with
seems
W
that
up.
100 Thieves are the ones, and junglers ready to show up mid.
This spear.
This is the spear on River, so he's going to continue walking away. The first grub was already secured by the Nidalee, but now it seems that 100 Thieves are the ones controlling the top side River. C9 still ready to contest. River tackling forward, going after Blabber, but now he's got to try to get right back away as Thanatos is making his way into the
He's
fight,
like
and
actually
Ayla's
not
now
even
the
trying to
target
poke here.
for
It's a little
C9.
weird. Miss
Flashing
spear.
back out with the Ignite
Yeah, they
on
just
him.
don't land any of the
Jojo also
poke.
very, very low here. No teleport available on that Trist. He's got 30% HP.
Everything
and
555
almost
for
no mana to
Thursday.
work
Yes.
with.
Sorry,
100
Nacho
Thieves
fan.
control
Yes,
the
Cooking
top side
Stream still good. Down the pipe.
Honestly, I'm surprised
5x5.
100 Thieves comes up on top here. Because as you said, Renekton was in a great position in the lane. I thought he would be the difference maker in this skirmish, but 100 Thieves manages to poke them while going out, going away from the Renekton that was roaming first, and just get control over the river and get 2 grabs. That's pretty great for them.
Yeah, exactly. You were talking earlier about the Nidalee wanting to accelerate the grubs. Not just the first set, but the second set too. Only getting 1 out of that first set means
That
he's
was
gotta
actually
get the
very
entire
weird
second set just to
that
be
we
able to
didn't
spawn
see
the Void
more
Knight.
like
And it's so
play
easy.
of
We see it
Nidalee
happen
in
so often. If the enemy junglers are
human
around, and you
form
just don't have
slash
enough
going
manpower to
after
hard force
like
them
actually
away.
landing
Drive
spears
by,
there.
Smite 1, cool, see ya.
I always like it when teams
Feels
play
like
it
that
this
was a
way,
very
because Blabber
doable
obviously
fight,
is
especially
first
with the
to
Renekton
grubs, so he's
advantage.
starting it up, but Ayla and Quinn
Oh,
is
are we
different
just
from
not going to
Ayla
play into the
grubs.
Renekton
Just
advantage
jump
at
on
all?
Jojo,
What was the point of
Jojo
picking
really
Renekton
low
Italy?
HP, and then make it very difficult for C9 to actually continue that play because your mid laner's low. He didn't have TP. If Jojo has to base, it's not like C9 can take a team fight there. So by jumping on the mid laner, forcing him low, that's kind of really what helped to secure them those extra grubs.
Thanatos, again, just trying to save as much time with this wave as he can. Popping the Dominus, flashing forward with Ruthless Predator. But now the all-out from Sniper. He's ready to take this challenge. Thanatos trying to get away. Save as much time.
Forcing him low, that's kind of really what helped to secure them those extra grubs.
Thanatos just all ending here, so Q is on cooldown. Slice is on cooldown. Dice is on cooldown, so 15 seconds. And then he
this wave as he can.
flash W's. He has Q up.
Flashing forward with Ruthless.
Did he use Q early?
Forward with Ruthless Predator.
No.
But now the
He just doesn't have any cooldowns left.
again, just trying to save as much time with this wave.
Yeah, he like loses the trade and then he decides to all in. He's also taking a bunch of damage from the mini wave. I guess he thinks like he's going to be able to heal up off of it. But he that's not an empowered Q. That's not an empowered Q right there.
Forward with Ruthless Predator. But now the all-out from Sniper. He's ready to take
That's not
the
an empowered
challenge.
Q.
Thanatos trying to get away.
Alrighty.
Sniper just showed him who the rookie top laner is.
Man, Sniper gets a solo kill there. Thanatos was really trying to hold the wave. We're going to see this all in bot.
Yeah, Ayla now could be in some trouble.
How is Thanatos look this split? Very
Zenith Blade to try to get
mid.
back out. Ayla, 400 HP, 300, 200, 100. We are counting down, and Ayla needs to get all the way away. Back underneath the tier 1 turret now, but Blabber is coming in to try to help finish the job. Meech flashing out, but the follow-up flash for the pulverize as Vulcan wants to lock down the Kai'Sa, the killer instinct to get back away. Meech and Ayla both going to survive, but they are both bleeding here in the bot lane. Oh, hold on, Quid. Also in trouble. Jojo nearly kills him off there. Would have needed 2 more auto attacks. Won't find him.
That was a really good buster shot, though, because Quid was sliding in. He probably would have looked for the ult to try to scoop Jojo back. And maybe
The thing is like if it's not empowered, he gets triple healing from empowered. You know what I mean? So it actually might have been the difference there, but he didn't have any cooldowns left. Like he didn't have his E cooldown.
This is just really nice. Thanatos has no spells.
This is
You know,
really
he kinda
nice.
got
Is it?
aggressive Here. You know, he used his Q, then used his slice and dice. He pops the R to try to hold the wave. Like he's really been trying to focus on this.
But the thing is that he doesn't get the empowered Q, and the Q does give you Fury based on targets hit, but then he has no more cooldowns. So he
You're
can't
flashing
actually
in with
use his
basically,
Fury.
You know, not all your spells up. So Sniper just goes forward, goes all out, flashing in, able to actually finish him off.
Pretty terrible.
That was-
Direct on casted.
Oh! Showing him the guns.
Oh, let's go.
Golden Glue loves it, man. Golden Glue loves it.
Why not?
Renekton Q was casted on like 40-something Fury, I think.
Yeah.
I think if he waited like half a second
For the
to
bigger
get a 50 Fury
He
Q, I
empowered
think he
W
would kill a
instead.
lot
Yeah,
there.
well, he thought he was going to get an empowered Q. He mistimed it. He mistimed it. He's trying to wait for his Fury from his ult, and he's trying to position himself in the wave to actually maximize. That's why he sidesteps here, but he just fucks it up. He's not quite at half Fury, right? He messes up the timing. He's trying to time it so he actually hits the red Fury and then uses it to get empowered Q, and then maybe he wins that, and then he's like, ah, shit.
Sniper just goes forward, goes all out.
That's why he starts running. He realizes he doesn't get healed.
Direct on casted.
Oh! Showing him the guns.
Oh, let's go.
He was a few autos off. He was actually just timed, because the thing about Renekton ult is it just fills your Fury bar automatically.
Renekton Q was casted on like 40-something Fury, I think.
Yeah.
I think if he waited like half a second
For the
to
bigger
get a 50 Fury Q, I think
Yes.
he would kill a lot there. And
Yes, that's
that
correct.
could be a difference
I don't know who the
maker
pro is
to-
who's talking,
to
but that's
survive.
correct.
But yeah, I think it was.
He doesn't win that even with empowered. He would have gotten an additional probably 100, 150 healing from that.
Could actually fight into the wave, hold the wave.
It probably
he
wasn't a
really
good play,
had to focus
though.
His whole laning phase on freezing that wave on him.
Sounds like inspired. It does sound like inspired.
Spot, but it's like when he flashed forward with only his W up, his Q came up a little bit later, but he didn't have his slice and dice. Like he didn't have his E. I was pretty surprised to see him go that aggressive.
But it's a pretty
for it, and
trash play.
That's what happens sometimes when you underestimate the Xante.
And now, when you look at that scoreboard at the bottom, all of the advantages he was trying to build up.
Good thing
by freezing
Renekton
those
will definitely be useful this game, guys. Surely he will be able to engage versus Cassante, Poppy, Azir, Kai'Sa, Leona. Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna have a really easy time flanking.
Unless that Nidalee can come and get involved. We have less than 45 seconds until the second set of the grub spawns, though. That's
Literally 3 champions that can mark him and take him out of a fight. Just Poppy ult him, Cassante ult him, stun lock him with Leona.
Yeah, it is looking a little bit tough there. I'm kind of curious. What would you say is the time by which you kind of need to create an advantage when you are playing something like Nidalee, Renekton, Inspired? Because people talk a lot about, oh, it's early game, it's early game, it's early game. You know, how long would you actually give yourself to try to create a lead?
Oh, I mean, I think in this game it's not like. I think as long as Tristana is pressuring side lane, it's not like Renekton Nidalee have to do so much. I think they did the first Drake. They were trying to get the first grabs. I think the moment Renekton competes with Black Cleaver, he's on his spike. Nidalee is just farming faster than Poppy, so she's slowly getting the level.
Please hit a spear, Blabber, please.
An advantage if it comes to the fight.
Oh, Ayla went for the flash Zenith Blade there on Jojo, but missed.
Getting the level lead right now. She's level 8 to 7, so that's a little bit of an advantage if it comes to the fight.
Oh, Ayla went for the flash.
It's a little bit of an advantage if it comes to the fight.
Ah, he just straight misses.
Oh, Ayla went for the flash Zenith Blade there on Jojo, but misses the skill shot. So
Oh my God! Look at this.
Advantage if it comes to the fight. To the fight.
What? Oh, dude, you can't miss those.
Ayla went for the flash Zenith blade
You
there
can't
on
miss
JoJo,
those.
but misses the skill shot, so JoJo just taunts him a little bit and walks away from it.
Skill
Now
shot
100
landing
Thieves
challenge
still trying
in
to start up
LCS.
these grubs. They need to
Difficulty
secure 2 of them to
impossible.
get the Void Mites.
Have we
First
seen a
one of them
spear
about
hit
to
yet,
drop to
guys?
river. There it goes. Now C9 still just no way into this river just yet. Meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, it's Thanatos versus Sniper. Hold on. Vulcan gets poked
Does
a
it
little
follow
bit
the buffer
here.
like
The
Maokai
Grubs
W?
lose
Yes.
their patience, gonna go back to where they
I
started.
believe so.
River goes for the keeper's verdict. A swing and a miss. C9 feeling a lot better about stepping forward now, as Ayla's gonna be their first target. Taken low. Vulcan taking here on the front lines. Has River, Quid, and Meech all have to head for the hills. C9 have forced the Thieves away, but now JoJo might be in a little bit of trouble. The Emperor's Divide ain't gonna find what it wants because of the rocket jump buffer, but now Sniper and Thanatos have also joined the scrap. Sniper
How are we
stronger by a
losing
level.
topside
He's gonna be that
as
front
C9?
line
How
that
the
zones
fuck
rest
are
of
we
C9
losing
away,
topside?
And it looks like it's gonna be a 5-to-1 grub count for 100 Thieves from the
How the
Deadlock
fuck did
cells.
we pick Renekton
Honestly,
Nidalee
honestly, so
into
surprised that
Cassante
Cloud9 didn't
Poppy
even get any grubs
and then
from the
lose
second set of grubs
topside?
there.
How is
It
this
looked like they
possible?
had control of the pit there for a while, but couldn't finish anything off. 5-to-1 for 100 Thieves is going to feel really nice. There is a slight gold lead, though, for Cloud9. Going to be feeling pretty good about that. And well played by JoJo.
Everybody's feeling good, according to Azale.
5-to-1 for 100 Thieves is going to feel really nice.
It's going to feel really nice for 100 Thieves because they have 5 grubs. But gold lead. They're going to be feeling pretty good, too. Good feelings, good vibes everywhere in the LCS. Great vibes. Vibes level, feeling good.
Yeah, definitely. Heck, if he didn't buffer that, I think River was ready to just flash in and pin him into the wall, and Tristana would just die there. But now the point where JoJo gets his Kraken Slayer, I think, so now he will be able to pressure the Azale a bit harder, and he will actually start dealing damage.
Yeah, so
Slayer, really strong one-item
Big
power.
vibes in the
This thing can
LCS.
seriously do some damage, especially with a champion like Tristana. Second Drake of the game is live. Remember that C9 did secure the first one for themselves after being forced off that first set of grubs. They're already a little bit over 1,000 gold ahead on top of it. First items coming online for a lot of our major players now with the Iceborne and Black Cleaver, both being operational for the top laners. The Zeke's Convergence also completed for River as just that sort of low-cost, high-value tank jungle item.
Yeah, so here is 30 seconds left on the platings, and I wonder if JoJo will get to hit the tower with this wave, or will Sniper just clear the whole wave before it hits the tower? It seems like the wave is gonna die before it hits the tower. So there will be 0 platings for Tristana this game, or actually she got 1 mid, which is not the best.
yeah, not able to get too much pressure.
I think he will go for it. He will go for it, knowing JoJo.
Let's see it.
He gets one.
He gets one.
There it is.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. It's pretty worth. Obviously, the 5 grubs for 100 Thieves. I think nice more is like a denial than anything that's really doing for them, at least thus far. Maybe later on in the game we can pay dividends, but they haven't really been able to get close to any of these towers. I think 100 Thieves got 0 plates total in that early stage, but going to be still feeling pretty decent about their spot. Cloud9 looking like they can grab a Herald. And now with the damage that JoJo's getting up top, you know, they should be able to grab themselves first turret pretty easily.
Well, the other side of the map is also being overloaded by 100 Thieves. It's just going to be a swap for these first couple of outer turrets. The Drake was taken by the Thieves. Now the Herald secured by C9. It looks like Sniper might be in a pretty bad spot. First turret does go over to 100 Thieves there in the bottom lane as Sniper escapes up in top side. C9 just going to go ahead and drop that Herald. The tier 1 turret at only half HP. Shelly can just ram her head into the thing. Nearly kills it with just that one shot.
They lose first turret though because they rotated the Renekton into bot side because he's doing so badly, and he's somehow losing to this Cassante because he took that really stupid all-in.
He already has his 1-item spike. Of course, Meech does as well. But Berserker in a pretty good spot. And going to be interested to see how his Zeri actually looks. You know, this is something that I think a lot of people were talking about in spring. You know, Bwipo was saying he's not him anymore, and there was kind of that discussion around, has Berserker really fallen off? But like this
is
is
Berserker
to me,
washed?
the signature Berserker champ. This is really how he made his name in the LCS, and this would be an opportunity for him to really have a big game for Cloud9, because these are the kind of spots where in previous years you just trusted Berserker to always get it done.
Yeah. You would see him farming well, getting out of lane with a modest little gold advantage, right? Plus 400. He's got his items, he's on par, and then boom, suddenly a team fight happens in the river and he gets a quadra kill and the game's over. But right now, it's Thanatos who's under pressure. River and Ayla.
Poppy has ult here, so if they want the tower, Poppy can just exactly start charging the ult and the tower will fall while Cassante is just holding on the bot tower.
Oh, but instead, they use
What
the
is
Keeper's Verdict
Thanatos
to
doing,
eject the
dude?
backup. They kill the turret in time.
What is he doing?
Exactly, start charging the ult.
he could walk away.
And the tower will fall while Cassante is
Blabber
holding on
also just gets hit by the Poppy ult,
the bot tower.
and then they just time it. Like, how could this have gone better for 100 Thieves? Why are we staying if we're Cloud9? Why are we staying? Like, I get there's a giant wave here, but you cannot stop this.
They use the keeper's verdict to eject the backup. They kill the turret in time, and Renekton is just the cherry on top.
Man, I think River actually just absolutely.
River hitting that was really good though, but honestly, Blabber, like, if he's not committed to flashing this, if he's not committed to, I think he thought he was out of range. If he's not committed to flashing this, then why stay?
They use the keeper's verdict to eject the backup. They kill the turret.
Now you just lose turret and Renekton dies again, and you lose the wave.
Man, I think River actually just absolutely downloaded them. Like, Thanatos was trying to dodge that so hard, and Blabber's thinking, okay, the dive is coming in. I need to get up there right now. He just walked straight.
One thing Nidalee is really bad at doing though is covering for dives. She's pretty shit at that.
Then the turret dies as Nidalee gets knocked out, and you stun the Renekton in the wall. That was perfection.
It was, but it was just gifted to them. Like, it was well played by 100 Thieves, but like, why were they even there? I mean, they did lose mid turret for it, so it's kind of worth in a way. Like, we're even in turrets, but mid turret's far more valuable.
Managed to get mid tower on one wave, which was, I think, pretty smart play as well.
Our gold lead hasn't really gone one way or the other here in the past few minutes. It was about this, 3 or 2.5 minutes ago when the plates fell. Staying around the same spot. Thanatos on the Renekton, kind of the one struggling the most here on C9, considering he has been the recipient of both of those deaths thanks to the plays from 100 Thieves, from Sniper in that first solo kill, and then what we just saw with River's Poppy mind games. But our next Drake is spawning in just about 90. Do you guys think we're going to get a fight for this, or is it just going to be a give it and go?
I think C9 is forced to fight, honestly. I think this Renekton is not going to get any better in the game.
Yeah. There's so much armor already on 100 Thieves' side. 2 full complete armor items for Sniper. You can see Frozen Heart's going to be coming up next for Quid. Tabby's already done for River, so it's already kind of tough.
All right, hold on now. We got a little bit of a problem for River. He's going to try to get back away, but a lot of damage coming out the other side as Blabber's the first to die. 100 Thieves got a 5v4, but they also got to be careful. Some of the health bars are pretty low, and Sniper's going to be the next one to drop. Emperor's Divide goes out, but it's 100 Thieves going down. It's Cloud to die.
He's already done for River, so it's already...
Okay, Poppy no ults here. Poppy no ult, so Thanatos and Jojo are in the bot side. They have TP, so they see 4 people bot, and they're trying to commit to save this turret. No Poppy ult available. Berserker already here, and so they get the kill, and this is fine. But why are we overextending into the choke point? Like, you are making Renekton useful. Nice flash by Thanatos. He flashed the Azir wall there. That's a really good flash by Thanatos. I just don't understand why we walk into the brush when there's an ulting Renekton in there. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, you TP in and you get a free kill onto Blabber.
Next for Quid. Tabby's already done for River, so it's already kind of tough.
All right, hold on now.
You stun lock him actually, and then you R3 him, then you ult him, and like, this is the play. This is the play, 100 Thieves. Hold the W. You're doing fine. By the way, you're doing fine. Why? Like, you can actually just transition this into pushing mid. And instead, you literally just walk into a brush that has Renekton in it. Renekton and Alistar. And Cassante is 1 HP, and then they're able to clean you up because they have an ulting Zeri. It was a fancy flash by Thanatos, though. Dude, what is with Western teams like making Renekton good?
And C9 knows just how to bait him into the river. It is a massive win for C9 in the bottom side team fight.
They know just how to bait him into river. They literally just walk back and hide in pixel brush. Genius.
But Berserker, Jojo were both completely untouched. There was so much space made for this double AD carry. We're both at a pretty strong point in the game.
The Buster Shot actually makes that play. Otherwise, it's a scoop and a C9. I don't know about that. No, I don't think so. Because the thing here is that, okay, so what happens if Quid gets the flash in? You know, what happens if he flash scoops? I don't think they win this fight, guys. Because you're still scooping an Alistair and an ulting Renekton into your team. You know what I mean? And Sniper still has no armor MR because he's ulting. Yeah, and everybody, that's true. Everybody has flash. I think it's a terrible idea. I think it doesn't change that play at all. It doesn't matter if you push Berserker or not. Then you focus Berserker and Renekton's still alive and in your team, and JoJo's getting resets. So no, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, that is huge. 100 Thieves got that early kill on Blabber, and I think they just got super confident that they were going to be able to run over the fight. But Berserker, JoJo were both completely untouched. There was so much space made for this double AD carry. We're both at a pretty strong point in the game, and they got a lot of work done. That is a huge fight for Cloud9. Now they're 3K up. They get such an advantage off of that they may be able to continue snowballing.
Yeah, honestly, I think they should have been happy with one pick. They used Leona ult, Leona E, Poppy E, and Cassandra ult to kill the Nidalee. So it didn't look the best to just keep chasing into the fight. I think they just didn't realize that, and they thought with man advantage they would be able to clean up the C9 team. But Renekton still at every spell. Tristan's full HP, Zeri with ult. Obviously, we know how much damage she can do.
So they do chain CC the Nidalee and burst her, but they have to use a ton to do that.
Yeah, I mean, from this spot,
and no Poppy ult.
River's already pretty low.
It is a nice Trist ult, but I just don't think that they get really anything done there.
Yeah, completely untouched. Even flashing forward aggressively there. You need so many tools to kill a Zeri in a fight unless they're really mispositioned. And as you said,
they just don't have the champions to kill the Zeri.
Well played by Cloud9. Back in live, you can see the picture-in-picture. They're going to be able to grab the dragon as well. Reaper
is unbothered.
Yeah, he's like, yeah.
Reaper is just not.
Feels like he's just prepping his draft or something.
Yesterday we see Spawn punching the desk. Today we see Golden Glue fist pumping the air. Reaper's like just reading whatever's on his piece of paper there.
Well, I got to interview him. I was asking what they were doing on the break. He's like, yeah, the break was great for Cloud9. I beat Elden Ring. I got to play a lot of Swarm. So I'm surprised he doesn't have like a Steam Deck out or something.
just being like, all right, yeah, sure, yeah, do whatever. Well, hey, I mean, whatever he's doing is apparently working. C9.
I love Reaper.
And Drakes, they're up 3,500 gold. Baron is spawning here in 20 seconds. If 100 Thieves have another big team fight blunder like that and they have it close,
he's like, well, whatever, it's a free play.
Just completely take over the game with no chance left for the Thieves to try to get back into it. It feels like they got to be more careful. They got to be more cognizant of what the state of these fights are. Because like you guys were talking about, after they kill Blabber, they go in with their front line half dead and Leona having no spells. It just doesn't seem like a winning recipe.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really interested in your take on this, Inspire, because obviously in spring, Cloud9 coming in, it's supposed to be this big super team. Everyone's talking about them. These are the power rankings that, all the talent had for spring versus summer. Everyone had Cloud9 at the top in spring. In summer, it was only Jet, and I think he did it more as a meme, to be honest. But it's like, now do you think it's gone too far the other way, where our people kind of underestimating Cloud9 and overlooking about them?
Nah, Cloud9's played like shit this game.
Just been about you guys and about
just 100 Thieves is incredibly bad in the mid and late game.
I think Cloud9 is just they're all very strong individual players. I think in the spring they just didn't seem like a
Thanatos has never really gelled with this roster.
You could have seen, like, when we played against them, it felt like pretty hard for the first 10-15 minutes, but then after that they usually just made some macro mistakes or they didn't play out their comp correctly in the team fights. So we were winning the games just by being a better team. But I see why people expect a lot from them, because they're just great players individually.
Where do you kind of see them now, as the top three? Like, obviously, you'll put yourself first, but between, TL, C9, whoever else, who would you see as the kind of the top dogs?
I mean, honestly, I have the hardest time playing against C9 in practice. Yeah.
So C9, you would say, is the hardest team. Interesting. So we'll see if they can actually do that, because there has been a lot of talk also. Obviously, we have this new format. It is best of threes, but it's single round robin, so you only play 7 series. Cloud9 is 3-0, but they haven't played either you guys or TL yet. So a lot of people are saying, well, you're at the top, but you haven't beaten any of the big dogs yet, so you haven't really proven yourself. So I think that's what a lot of people are going to be looking forward to. Your guys' match against them, TL's match against them, because that's going to dictate a lot for the expectations kind of going into playoffs.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there any team other than TL that seems like they can make a run? No. I mean, I've been really disappointed with the iteration of Cloud9. They're just not good enough, man. Like, there's really, like, they're not playing to their win conditions within this game. They're missing a lot of skill shots. They need to control objectives in the early game. Like, this Nidalee is shit. The Renekton is shit.
It's really hard for anybody that does physical damage to punch through this guy, but it's such a good build against a comp like this, because if Nidalee's focusing Cassante, like, Nidalee's not doing...
Like, they should absolutely have had Prio over Grubs this entire game, but they never even made a play on the top side. Now, part of that is Thanatos is terrible all in, but...
Right? You know, you still just kind of have to be looking for those carries, and you just have to trust that, you know, the consistent DPS from these two marksmen are going to be able to punch...
Just another trash blind pick Renekton, you know? I'm used to it now.
Berserker, you know, he's working towards another item here places, so it is going to be, I think, tough at this point in the game, and maybe that buys time for Quid to really get going on this Azir.
You guys think that 100 Thieves fights this next Drake here in about 65 seconds, or do you just let
item while Kai'Sa is sitting only on
Berserker? There's QSS on JoJo.
This is still crazy. I mean, if 100 Thieves weren't a complete dumpster fire themselves, this is entirely winnable for them.
A lot harder now because JoJo got.
I mean, 100 Thieves going Liandry's, like Quid going Liandry's Frozen Heart. Like, I know you think that's good, but you actually can't dive into the backline. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know why we're playing Grasp Azir here.
QSS. There's Cleanse on Berserker. There's QSS
I don't know why
JoJo.
we're playing Grasp
So now
Azir.
for Ayla, the targets become,
Like, is the idea that you go in and then Kai'Sa ults behind you, but if one or both of you dies, there's no more damage?
Then you're probably just dying to the marksman like you did in the previous.
Just silly.
I was going to say, we already saw that episode.
Exactly.
It doesn't
So
mean good for 100 Thieves.
The options become a bit more difficult. You know, you have
Has
to
Blabber hit a
you can
spear
force
yet?
out
Not that I've
QSS, you know,
seen.
with your ulti
Nope,
and then
miss
immediately follow
again.
up with a stun or something like that, and really kind of track around those cooldowns, but makes those engage opportunities a lot more difficult, and I think you have to be way more precise when there are those kind of easy answers like the cleanse and QSS.
C9 with control over this topside river right now, and for 100 Thieves,
Island misses E again.
Up here.
JoJo is unafraid.
Yeah, JoJo just constantly putting the DPS into these guys, getting a nice little chunk out of both Ayla and River.
I really love that when you have the confidence. Like, Triss has a lot of range. You can step forward, you can take these trades, you can force people to try to use something on you, make them miss, and then react with the rocket jump, you know, if they're going to be able to actually hit something. So, you know, the Zenith Blade came out, he sidestepped that, he said, all right, now you have to actually pay the price. We're going to take some of your health off.
Exactly, and with how
Nice
powerful
W.
the buffer on rocket jump is, hold on now.
Nice Poppy W.
Traded away for the Alistar Unbreakable Will. Both support ultis are down, but look at the difference in health bars. Vulcan's the only one that's taken meaningful damage on C9, and so many 100 Thieves players are hurt, and Meech even had to use his flash.
Yeah, and that's a really big one now. Kai'Sa with no flash. C9 know it. They're just going to go start up the Baron. They have this Nidalee for sustain. They're going to keep landing this poke, and they're looking to try to force a fight here. We'll see if they can find a window.
This spear.
Will be really crucial in this fight if the Nash actually gets low.
All right, Thanatos
Okay,
coming
River
around,
should
looking for
have.
the flank,
He
but
has
is on
eyes
top
on the
of a
flank
board
here.
from 100
E.
Thieves. Quid gonna take a
There we
lot
go.
of damage from
So he
JoJo's
waits for
auto
ult,
attack.
then he
River
goes
versus
E.
Thanatos. Ayla jumping in to try to protect them. The turret might have self-destructed, but Meech is Thanatos coming around.
Why do we
Looking
need
for the flank, but he is on
10
top of a board
people
from 100
to get
Thieves.
rid of
Quid gonna take a
Thanatos
lot of
here?
damage from JoJo's auto attack.
Like, why is Ayla going over this wall?
River versus
They literally just leave
Ayla jumping in to try to
Meech and
protect
Quid
them.
to
The turret
die
might have
while they
self-destructed,
chase
but Meech is the
Renekton
one who
around.
dies first on 100 Thieves' roster.
This team
Now
is
the Thieves
so
gotta regroup
shit.
and still fight their way out of this one. Thanatos has the dominance, but he is pretty low. Protect them. The turret
Like,
might have
no one
self-destructed.
knows what their fucking job is on 100
coming
Thieves.
around, looking for the flank, but he is on top of
Okay, so River's job is to do this, right? His job is to do this, and he has patience for it. But you do not send 3 tanks to mark this. What you want to do here, River's job is done. These guys need to go over here, and you need to kite, right? Or you go all in on this side.
a lot of damage from JoJo's auto attacks. River versus Thanatos. Ayla jumping into
They send 3 tanks to deal with the Renekton, and Meech, who doesn't have flash, is just left to die.
We're going to take a lot of damage from JoJo.
So it's a free gap close.
Auto attacks. River
It's a
versus
free gap close onto Meech,
Thanatos.
and then
Ayla
Berserker
jumping
goes
in
over the
to
wall,
protect
and then
him.
they just
The
kill
turret
him.
might have self-destructed, but Meech is the one who dies first on 100 Thieves' roster. Now the Thieves got to try to regroup and still fight their way out of this.
100
one.
Thieves is
Thanatos
so
has the
bad, guys.
dominance,
It's
but he is
actually
pretty low.
unbelievable.
Look out
It's like
for Berserker.
unbelievable that you would
Fury
do
auto
that.
attacks. Not quite finding the marks they need. The zap
They literally
on
just
the
left their
sniper.
carries
It's a
to
1
die.
for nothing for C9.
to go chase around a crocodile who wasn't going to be able to flank them anyway.
Engage on Thanatos. I just don't know why Kai'Sa didn't follow up on that. I think if Kai'Sa just ults instantly there, and Renekton might actually die in CC, but instead she was trying to
Yeah, you actually, that's a good point. That is a good point, Inspired. You actually can reposition the Kai'Sa as well. I didn't even think about that, but that's true. Why don't we just ult Renekton?
Thanatos. Ayla jumping in to try to protect them. The turret might have self-destructed, but
As Kai'Sa, that's a great point. And then Quid kites it out. That's a great point.
And still fight their way out of this one. Thanatos has the dominance, but he is pretty low. Look out for Berserker. The Zeri auto attacks. Not quite finding the marks they need. The zap will not connect on Sniper. It's a 1-0 for C9.
I'm really not a fan of how 100 Thieves played it out. I think River found a great engage on Thanatos.
Yes, River's engage was good.
Didn't follow up on that. I think if Kai'Sa just ults instantly there, and Renekton might actually die in CC, but instead she was trying to make some solo play from the left side, which definitely was not
terrible.
a great choice.
And this is something that we actually
literally any choice was better than that choice.
On pros, how River often sees an angle and that they don't always all follow the call, and then often in review, River's the one that was correct, and they should have actually followed that call. They should have looked for that play. But in that play, it wasn't just Meech. Meech and Quid were both basically at the bottom side of the river, where everyone else on the team.
Control and support. Is it even going to be enough? Slipping away further and further. Vulcan with the engage on Ayla. Berserker there for a little bit of follow-up, and here comes JoJo. They force the flash of the 100 Thieves.
Nobody in that brush, bro.
Support. Is it even going to be enough? JoJo.
Nice. Okay, they did get. That's a really good catch on a JoJo.
They block him with a steadfast presence. Now Sniper's got to be careful that he doesn't get picked off too. He gets back away with the all-out.
It's actually huge. Okay. Yes. Slow push. Do not walk forward. Do not walk into. Do not walk. Oh my God. Why are they walking forward into Alistar with all cooldowns up? Like, this is fine. They can't do Baron anymore. You have control over the choke point with the Sand Soldiers. You're literally walking into a choke.
Now Vulcan's ready to re-engage here with a headbutt pull. Sniper barely getting away.
Ah!
A second longer, but Berserker goes on a rampage and cuts him down. A double kill over the river now too. As Blabber
100 Thieves is just walking into everything.
Berserker, it's another for Blabber. C9 just got everybody not named Meech.
Vulcan has been finding some really good engages, it feels like, for Cloud9, and the team is following up on it, and now they're going to get the Baron, and this feels like the game is getting out of reach here for 100 Thieves. 3 Dragons, they're going to be up 7-8K after this play, and that is just going to be an enormous advantage. You can see LDR is already finished for Berserker as well.
Big time dog shit.
Getting so far ahead.
I feel like in a fight where
how's the weather today? Monsoon season. It's horrible. It's like hot, rainy, and humid.
But C9 still outplayed him.
Yeah, exactly. I think 100 Thieves thought that that's the best shot they will ever get. But I really like how patient Berserker.
Is this your greeting ult? I mean, you are walking into the Alistar who has ult and his cooldowns up.
And then he will commit with his E over the wall and just clean up the whole fight. So I just liked it. Like right now he's keeping his E all the time. He's not he's not going too fast in. He's just hitting over the wall. And then once Alistar goes in, he just ease over and just cleans up the whole fight. So
yeah, this is really well done by Cloud9, and that's kind of like felt like the difference in this game. You talk about how sometimes teams have these individual good players, but they're not coordinating on that same page. We saw the inverse of that from 100 Thieves, where they find this engage with River going over the wall.
Alistar has always been one of Vulcan's best champions, so he actually is putting on a pretty good performance in this game. I would just ban it versus Cloud9, frankly. You really worried about what else Vulcan's playing these days? Probably not.
Sniper got away. Never mind, we got Sniper getting himself back to the fountain in time, but unfortunately for 100 Thieves, the doors are getting kicked in.
Was on cooldowns.
Terrible game. Terrible game from everybody. Fire everybody into the sun. Blabber, disgusting. Oh, he hit a spear!
11,000 gold lead now for C9.
Disgusting Nidalee spear accuracy rate.
Not in the 100 Thieves base, and they've even taken down that first tier.
Ayla, this. Oh my. Ayla is so bad. Look at this.
On the map that's not in the 100 Thieves base, and they
Narnia ult.
taken down that
he misses every E this game.
first tier 3.
And then he's like, I'm helping guys. He literally just walks up and dies.
Sidestep from Ayla makes him look silly. Taking down D9. They've taken down every Thieves base, and they are on the map that's not in the 100 Thieves base. And they've even taken down that first tier 3 turret as Berserker sidesteps from Ayla, makes him look silly. And now River's about to pay the price too. Sniper's trying to get out. JoJo's trying to get in.
Do you like Ayla missing every single fucking ability in this whole game?
Just trying to get out of there with a bomb on his head, and you'll see Quid not be able to do the same thing. He's going down, 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 and C9's going in
an earlier round.
Those Nexus turrets, they are not long for this world. They're looking to get that last kill, looking to get that.
And Sugar, we're going down swinging.
Here on the steps of the base, ladies and gentlemen, 30 minutes into the game, 16-4, C9 smacks 100 Thieves in game 1.
A really strong first performance.
LCS must be destroyed, guys. What is this trash? I was hoping C9 would just lay the smackdown on 100 Thieves, but I'm like almost more disappointed in Cloud9.
And Tristana ban, I like it.
Yeah, the Trist ban's coming in from 100 Thieves, so that's already a positive there. We're already because
in the state of
okay, Jace and Sejuani for Sniper. We're gonna first pick the Ashe. We don't want Berserker to have that. They banned Ashe the last game. Oh, I don't want to watch more Renekton Nidalee from you, Cloud9.
Ever since the Nidalee nerfs, it's undefeated in the LCS. You and Clever.
right back on track. She just needed some there at the time angle.
Yeah, I think the Cork is more of a pick away from C9 because Tristan and Yon are already banned out, and they have
very mid.
Interesting pick.
Okay, same comp so far. I mean, they can't. C9 can't have Trist. Why wouldn't you pick Asante again? Because the Thanatos will just into it. So we.
I mean, Lucian Nami is not bad against Ashe, so maybe it's gonna be Lucian into Nami last pick if they really wanna play Zeri.
Big to wrap up this.
He probably just goes Alistar thing, but they don't necessarily have a super.
Playing Alistar again, aren't we? Zeri Alistar.
That I would send your way is like you're Nidalee in this case, and they're going to be going towards the Alistar because a lot of.
All right, it's the same comp. We just have Lucian in the mid lane because we LEC now.
Yeah, I think Enchanter here is not it.
Yeah, so this is their draft. Which one do you prefer between 100 Thieves?
Every time you play slow down replays reminds me of the time you slow down River to say party in the Bramble Pit. Yeah, I know that's a classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like 100 Thieves drafts better.
We'll bring that
the
back real
question
quick.
For me is going to be, again, we talked about how strong brand is.
We're all old, buddy. Don't worry about it.
Oh, this is a lot of people.
Why is my tab fucking up?
Get a fight here. Party in the Bramble Pit. A lot of people right here. Party in the Bramble Pit.
But also how River really
Makes me
wants to
laugh
get
every
into his
time.
lanes early, and I think
Drunk
that's when
Rivington #1.
100 excel. That is happening. So we'll see if he can get it done on brand. Take it away, Flowers and Azale.
Thank you very much.
I really just need to
Lounge.
clip that
All
for the soundboard.
River on the brand, Blabber.
What happened to Rivington? He's
It's
casting
another
Valorant now.
Episode of Renekton versus Cassante up here in the top
He
lane.
decided
For
Weeb
those of y'all
CS
that
was
might
better.
just now be joining us. Game number 1 was pretty Cloud9 favored from start to finish. We had Inspired on as a guest, talking a little bit about how
Reaper's like, this
it
job's
seemed
so
like
easy. Oh, Reaper.
to finish.
Oh,
We had
no.
Inspired on as a guest, talking a
Oh
little bit about
no. Oh, Reaper, no.
how it seemed
No, he has a suit, but he hasn't clipped the thread that closes the vent on the rack. Ah! 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 Fashion crime. Guys, there are like stitches on the vents of suits. They're intended for the rack, so they hang on the rack. Otherwise, the vent on a suit is to make room for your butt. And if you have it stitched shut, then it does this, and it like crinkles, making the vent irrelevant. That's illegal.
100 Thieves just wasn't able to respond. They weren't able to work together and be able to control what Cloud9 was doing, and C9 sort of just ran over him because of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think C9 coordinated really, really well, and I think if you're a Cloud9 fan, you're very happy about the way in which they won that game.
I'm
Because
so
when you think back to
disappointed in
spring,
him.
Their early game was
Text
still very,
him.
very strong, but they often
Crazy you
really
spotted that?
faltered in these
It
mid-game
no.
and late
His clothes are moving wrong. What do you mean crazy? How could you not spot that? Look at it. Look at what happens.
Talking a little bit about how
Like his butt is like expanding. It looks so fucking weird. It's like his ass is Pinocchio nose. How do you not see that?
Was doing, and C9 sort of just ran over him because of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think C9 coordinated really, really well, and I think if you're a Cloud9 fan, you're very happy about the way in which they won that game. Because when you think back to spring, their early game was still very, very strong, but they often really faltered in these mid-game and late-game situations and team fights. That I think was kind of the big weakness for this Cloud9 team in spring. But you know, this situation was pretty different. They didn't have some massive early game lead. They were playing, you know, from a position of parity. We talked about which draft would you prefer. Almost all of us were all on the 100 Thieves side.
Crocs
And
is a
Cloud9
sponsor
straight
for
up
NA,
outplayed
yeah,
them
and
5v5.
Jojo
So
Pion
I
was
think that's
fined
definitely
for
a
wearing
nice for
Crocs.
Cloud9
So
fans.
hilarious.
Well, all that analysis is a great reason for you to think it was an impressive victory from Cloud9, Isaac. But the reason that I think it's an impressive victory, you know those guys on the internet that say you only beat Elden Ring?
Also, it's pretty embarrassing that Reaper's buying suits off the rack. I think that's the most embarrassing part of it, is that Reaper bought a suit off the rack. He's Korean. You can get custom tailored suits for not very much money in Korea.
With a two-handed sword and a naked level.
What a pleb.
Well, the League of Legends
What a
equivalent of
pleb.
that is winning with Nidalee.
Yeah,
So the fact that Cloud9 was able to complete that achievement, very impressive.
And they added in Renekton, so they're actually doing it on a dance pad.
Hit his
Yeah,
first
like they
spear,
do with
Pog.
Elden
Dance
Ring, you know,
pad, naked
dance
level
pad.
1 guy.
He went. He's gonna go from
No
0% to
buff,
100% this.
no
Oh,
Impressive stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what the.
Smurfing it.
I think the only way to make it harder would be to add in a Jace.
Yeah, okay. Now, okay. All right, come on now. We're talking about world record type of stuff here,
Yeah.
my friend.
Then your eyes have to be closed as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
The dance pad, eyes closed, level 1.
We're starting to transcend humanity a little bit with this one. 100 Thieves right now, though, are just looking to transcend Game 2. They want to take us to a third game. Yesterday, when we got to see Team Liquid versus Dignitas, it was kind of a similar thing, right? Where you're looking at
God,
it and
that
you're
series
thinking,
was
okay, Team
terrible by
Liquid's definitely
Dignitas.
heavy
Holy
favorites.
shit.
They smashed the first game, but Dig was able to bounce back very well in
Yeah.
game number 2. So I'd love to see 100 Thieves pull out some of that same magic and give us a show here against Cloud9.
Absolutely, and I do think when you're talking about bright spots, one of the things you have to talk about was Sniper in that first game.
Yeah.
Thanatos obviously, took the Renekton,
Captain Flowers, top
Atlas
3 league
early
casters of
presence,
all time.
But at the end of
No.
the day, Thanatos got a little bit
Atlas
too
is
aggressive,
active,
was
and
trying to
me
hold
and
that
Doe
wave a little bit
exist,
too
so
long, and
that's
Sniper
just
punished
false.
him, got the solo kill.
I can tell you that right now.
This potential battle for Rookie of the Year between these two top laners, and Sniper came out on top. This is that top lane matchup. When you look at spring versus summer, obviously it's a pretty stark difference here for Sniper.
Yes, sir.
He has not been performing to that same level that he was able to in spring. It was coming out of the gate really, really.
I forgot about you and Doe. You're literally watching my stream. How could you? That's next level, General Steve. I'm so washed. I am so washed that people now forget about me while watching my stream. Holy shit.
Performing expectations is
I've reached a new level of washed I didn't even think was
He had the
possible.
early flash there because if Quid flashes, the auto follows and you are dead.
Yep, 100%. It looks a little bit silly from where we were watching it.
Staying? Are you?
I'm now so forgettable
is-
that people forget about
Okay,
me
he's
while
waiting for a
watching
heal from
me.
Blabber, so he's
That's
not in
crazy.
one-shot range now. Honestly,
Yeah,
both their
Quid is
HPs
also
are pretty close.
This is actually really, really risky stuff. I mean, if you,
That's
if
funny.
you hit a pass-through Q, Quid had to flash. So yeah, he probably had to flash a Q because, if you hit anything through the wave there, he could dash in and just finish you off. So this is incredibly close. He's going to go for it.
Yup, Jojo actually has enough mana to do that. That's the important part. Quid only had enough in the tank to be able to Valk away, so he knows he can't try to stand and fight anything, even if Jojo wants to take it. Mid lane is spicy, and it's
I was
spicy
there during the
quick here in
Figas
game
game, so
number
just a
two.
draw.
absolutely.
That's
I mean,
funny
these are
though.
two confident mid laners. Jojo.
Oh my god,
Man, this league stream is so knowledgeable and well spoken. Have you tried casting?
he stole it! No. Wants to take it. Mid lane
Shout out
is
to Thanatos,
spicy,
by the
and
way,
it's
for this
spicy
invade.
quick here in
This
game
is
number
super
two.
cute by him. He's
Absolutely.
redeeming
These are
himself
two confident
for the
mid
last
laners.
game.
Jojo.
Oh my god, he literally stole it.
Spicy quick here in game number
River
two.
River
Absolutely. I mean, these are
wants
two
to
confident
die. So the smite goes down right there. But the Renekton steals it with slice and dice. Ah! So he slices in, and It's the dice. It's his second. It's his E2 that steals it.
Oh my God, he stole it.
no.
River smited it too early. Thanatos is going to take the blue. He's going to get the bonus money for the first blood. If I am jungling right now, I am typing FF so many times. Oh man, that ain't no good.
What?
Quinn gets one back for a solo bolo on
What
JoJo
is
in the
happening?
mid lane. Now I am typing. God, he stole it. River
Dude, that
smited
is
it too
FF
early.
though.
Lane is
If
spicy
you're
and it's
jungling
spicy
and a
quick
top
here in
laner
game number
walks
2.
in,
Absolutely. I mean, these are two
burns your smite. It's at 3 HP, guys. It's at 3 HP when he hits E2. And then he fucking kills me?
Oh my God, he stole it.
no.
River smited it too early. Thanatos is going to DC and it's spicy.
All right, Thanatos
quick
plays
here
this
in
much
game
better.
number 2.
Yeah,
Really good play by
absolutely. These are
Thanatos,
two
honestly.
confident mid laners.
Drops the ward, goes in.
He stole it.
He uses Q, guys, to get his rage above 50 because Q gives you additional fury.
River smited it
And then he uses the empowered W. He plays this really well. This is way different than how shit he played the last game.
He's going to get the bonus money
Oh.
for the first blood. If I am jungling right now, I am typing FF so many times. Oh man, that ain't no good. But Quinn gets one back for a solo bolo. on
Sniper
JoJo
also
in the mid
hating
lane.
life
JoJo's
versus first blood double buff for
overstaying.
Nekton.
Just see if he's back. JoJo not yet
At least he doesn't
based.
have flash, I
He does
guess.
get caught by the
Now,
very
I have no
edge
idea what
of
happened
that
here. It doesn't
phosphorus
matter actually what
bomb.
happened because he has
This
TP,
one
so
got
it's whatever.
spicy fast.
What on earth?
Like it's
That-
it's
now,
funny
with
what
double
happened in
buff
mid lane, but they
drop,
both
you
use
just got
both
kicked
use
first
flash
blood.
and they both use
Not only
TP,
is it
so
terrible for
the
jungle,
net
if you're
result
the
is
top
really
laner,
very little.
I'm also typing FF. I don't
Yeah,
want to
you're
land against
mad.
this guy. You just gave him a red buff, a blue buff. You gave him a gold border gold gleed. Like it's ridiculous.
And it's not just the fact that he has the double buffs, because he also got to last hit the blue,
Yeah.
which gives you more money than a
XP.
can.
I think Thanatos sequences this really well.
Because River smites it. Oh,
49
Yeah.
and 3.
Yeah.
What was when it went from 49 to 3?
that was the burn from the.
That was the
Purify.
burn.
That's what I think. Yeah. So I think he literally did 3. You can see the
He
frustration.
did 3 on
his
the
face there.
E2. He did 3
That is a
damage on
tough
the
one to get
E2.
by,
That is a
and then-
tilter though.
We're gonna die again.
Back in mid lane, yeah. Ayla
Not that it matters, guys.
That's what I
Like
think.
honestly, not that it matters because here's the thing. Here's the thing. I want to know how he knew that that was happening. He just guessed that he was doing the world's simplest jungle path. So the thing though is you have to ask yourself what would have happened if Brand gets blue buff. The answer is he doesn't get level 4
There are two
and blue buff
confident
doesn't
mid
save
laners.
him. So actually he's dead no matter what.
JoJo.
But maybe you could make the argument that he doesn't get
E
E2.
Mid lane is spicy, and it's spicy quick here in game number 2.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. I mean, these are
Maybe
two confident
no, he
mid
does
laners.
get E2 because he procs E1 right here. So he
JoJo.
gets E2 regardless. So River's dead no matter what, and Thanatos gets the blue buff no matter what. So it actually it just doesn't matter because like if River gets blue buff, he doesn't get level 4 and like live through that.
If I am jungling right now, I am typing FF so many times. Oh man, that ain't no good. But Quinn gets one back.
I wanna know what happened in the mid lane, though.
JoJo, this game.
Frustration on his face there. That is a tough.
Okay, we don't get to know because he's
get by,
dying
and
again.
then JoJo gonna die again.
Back in mid lane, yeah. Ayla making the rotation up as Quid gets a second one here on JoJo. This game has 3 kills in 4 minutes. We are off to the races.
Yeah, this one's getting messy fast, and now JoJo just died again. The second death is always so much more costly because you don't have TP.
Yeah.
So now there's no actually coming back to collect this as Ayla tries to bend the anchor around the wave there to actually nail Blabber, who could have been in trouble, but at the end of the day, we'll see how much this Meech can collect. Looks like all of it, as it is going to be Vulcan just basing. But yeah, Renekton is way ahead. If you want to have someone behind, though, you'd rather have your Cassandra behind than your Lucian. And we'll see how much he can kind of maintain, because when they get a red buff, it's actually quite a bit of early regen as well, so it's very difficult. It helps with the trading, helps with the regen, and
So
it's going to put you
powerful.
at that big advantage early on. Obviously, the blue buff not going to be nearly as important for a manaless champion.
Right, yeah. It's more of a
not
mental
going to run out
thing.
of mana either way.
Yeah, it's
But
more
there is
of
a second color, and it's frustrating.
Right. When you see the 1 buff, you're like, ah, all right, not that big of a deal. Double buffs?
Double buff?
Buffs is where you actually get a little bit
bro.
frustrated with the situation. Now, back here in bottom lane, things pretty even between the Ashe and the Zeri. And again, I like the fact that you brought it up back in game number 1. It was the Berserker Zeri contingency plan all the time, back when this guy was undisputed best AD carry in the league, right? Chekhov's Berserker. You mentioned him once in draft. He just AFK farms for 20 minutes, gets a quadra kill, and the game's over. And last game, we got to see that.
I don't think Captain Flowers understands what Chekhov's gun is.
Absolutely. It was kind of one of my favorite moments from a pro cast was we had Huhi come on a cast, and he was talking about how he's like, oh yeah, like which spot do you kind of prefer? And they're like, well,
to be fair, I doubt he could name one Chekhov play,
so triple kill, and then they're going to win the game.
Is it surprising?
30 seconds later, a fight breaks out on the river, he gets a triple kill. He's like I said,
random triple kill. Turns out Zeri does that. The game becomes pretty easy. Blabber's going to go ahead and start up these grubs again on the Nidalee, going back to what we were talking about with Inspired in game number 1. He said with Nidalee just being able to kind of control.
It's the gun that has so many replaced parts. The argument is about whether it's not the same gun, right? Yep, that's it.
First one, we'll see if 100 Thieves can force them away.
The gun of
Theseus.
Theseus.
What happened in game number 1? Ayla's going to be the first one to step up here, but he stepped up all alone. Ayla just dropped.
Dude, this is the walk into Renekton masterclass.
From the rest. That's what happened in game number 1.
This is the walk into Renekton masterclass. So they are fighting a 3 versus 4, and Ayla's dead.
Ayla just dropped. Thanatos has to slice and dice
and River is in 6, and they're all dead. They're all dead. And they're dead.
Quid still in full retreat as Vulcan's looking to chase these guys down with another headbutt pulled. He finds the Corky Copter, and it's a
yes, we definitely should fight that when our brand is level 5.
Good about that one.
Yeah, River smoked 1 away, but that's all they get at the end of the day. They are now down almost 2,000 gold here already.
Caster Crime mentioning something really related to plays in Monty's prison. Sentence death in Minecraft. Look, man.
Those early kills did go over to Quid. We can see this one more time.
I feel like if you mention Chekhov's gun, you need to know, you need to be able to name a Chekhov play. You don't even have to have seen one or read one. Just please be able to name one.
Over to Quid. We can see this one more time.
That's the rule.
They want to try to push in here aggressively, but the positioning much better from Cloud9 this time around. If you remember back to game 1, 100 Thieves were able to get a jump on JoJo, chunk him out low, then they went over to the grubs, and that actually prevented Cloud9 from taking the fight. This time, JoJo has perfect positioning on the side, lands a full culling on Ayla as he actually went in. Then as River's trying to do a drive-by, does steal 1 grub, but that is his.
I have no idea what Ayla's doing in this series, dude. This guy is fucking terrible.
Actually finish that off. You are easy pickings. And a couple early kills here for Blabber already. Just got his 1,000th career kill.
Dash can get away with it. Dash has been memory hold, guys.
Dude is getting it done in the jungle. And man, 2,000 gold, not even 8 minutes into the game.
What are your thoughts on the gameplay this game? I literally am commenting on it as it happens. It's bad. 100 Thieves is bad. I don't know why they're engaging right there. Like, if you have Brand at 6 and you might be able to get a big ult off in the pit, then go ahead, but you don't, so why are we fighting?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Brand is really, really fast. Nidalee obviously want to keep up that pace, want to stay aggressive.
I really hate this 100 Thieves roster, though. I think they're incredibly terrible. Okay, stun lands. JoJo's there. And Ayla gonna eat the culling. They force flash, though. Nice flash forward. Okay, fine.
And JoJo gets his man. Nicely played there from Vulcan and JoJo together.
Yeah, just like that. JoJo back-to-back kills, right back in it on the Lucian. Gonna be feeling really good about that. Berserker just holding down mid and is going to be able to hang on here. And this is the quote from Sniper on Pros talking about River. Whenever he sees an angle, he's going to go for it, you know.
How much did 100 Thieves spend? I don't know how much they spend. Probably not a lot. They don't spend money anymore on esports. Do you think they might sell? Yes, I do think they might sell.
You know, River will call, oh, we could go for this.
I hope they do too. I'm done with this garbage org.
And sometimes they don't understand the angle. They're not seeing it. But when they're going into the VOD reviews, he's able to kind of explain that. And they're realizing, okay, we needed to actually listen to River. So that was one of their major takeaways, was just to have trust on his calls, to try to be more coordinated. So
like, the thing about 100 Thieves is they just have no macro in the mid and late game. They have no idea how to play team fights. They have no idea of team comp win conditions. They just bad.
Sniper trying to keep on chasing. The all-out.
I wish 100 Thieves had sold last time when AG sold. That would have been lit.
You land that initial knockback, and River's going to have the combo to follow it up. If River actually gets the full combo down, bounces the ult and everything, but he goes all out. Maybe he thought he had a different angle, or maybe he just thought he had a lot more damage than he did. But at the end of the day, ends up pushing him to safety, and it's both their flashes expended on the play, and now Blabber is here to try to poke and prod, try to harass. Won't be any sort of an angle for a dive, but still a failed play from 100 Thieves when you're already down 3K gold. Every one of those attempts really matters.
A failed play. Blabber stops the reset for River, slowing his tempo even further. They force Ayla to come up there to try to respond to something, which means that 100 Thieves now don't have any extra firepower down here in the bottom lane, and Berserker's just having a great time against Meech with the Zeri versus Ash. 100 Thieves is again here in game number 2, just feeling like they're not coordinated enough. Meech knocked away from the turret, knocked right into Berserker, and that Zeri is scary, man. Easy money for the C9 AD carry.
Yeah, nicely done there by Vulcan. Doesn't even need the full combo. You just headbutt him away from the tower, so he can't do anything about it. They knew he had no flash from that previous play. So an easy kill there, donated into Berserker's pockets. I gotta say, Vulcan hasn't been talked about a ton this split, but he has really stepped it up from how he was doing last split. I feel like he's been really strong for the team.
I mean, Vulcan's on we're on an engaged support meta. Of course, Vulcan's going to be better.
And also, when you look back to game number 1, he was pivotal.
Yeah, this game is completely washed. Casual 4,000 gold lead at 10 minutes.
Way more coordinated.
Yeah, he's my MVP for game
Shout out to Thanatos for just getting a solo kill, actually justifying the Renekton pick here.
Starting up these grubs. First one stolen away there by River, and honestly, 100 Thieves are going to be happy to steal away 2 of these because it keeps the grubs at 3-3. It stops C9 from being able to spawn the Void Mites. But back on the topic of Vulcan, I actually think he came under a lot of fire, and rightfully so in spring. It felt like he just wasn't
incredibly high, but he did have, a rough time on FlyQuest with Prince. They couldn't make it happen there. Then he came to Cloud9, and it's like, wait, you're not doing well with Berserker either? Like, are you just not as good as we remembered? But he is really having that big resurgence. He's showing us the level that we came to expect from Vulcan over so many years. I also think it's
when do you think was the best time to sell an NA team? Like 2020, probably.
Really, really good. They're
I mean,
right now.
EG bought a slot for 30 million.
Heavy hitters coming up. This will be their 4th game. Exactly. Yes, I understand. Their final 3 opponents include 2 of the top 3 TL and FlyQuest, so their bigger challenges remain to be faced.
Oh, Ayla wanted to go in there for the engage on JoJo, but they don't even have the damage to follow it up in time. Never mind. Yes, they do. That last little bit of damage over time is going to finish the Lucian. As Berserker and Vulcan now in a 2v3 trying to fight it out here in the pit. Flash over the wall from Berserker as soon as he gets hit by the dredge line.
Where's the W from Berserker? They can go back in on this.
Thanatos wants to arrive. Sniper goes all out. They want to go in for Ayla. He might just have to try to get over the wall, but I don't think there's any way home considering he doesn't even have a flash. Thanatos goes in.
Why are we chasing the Renekton and the Alistar into the pit? We could have just disengaged this. All right, we just all die. We all. This is it, guys. This is it. We literally just watch. So we go in here and we, if we're 100 Thieves, remember 100 Thieves, it is impossible for them to hold a W. So we don't leave, even though we know the TP's coming up, and we just punt Ayla back in. Then we ult Thanatos, despite the fact that we have, no damage, and Meech is getting zoned out by Berserker. You think it's worth to buy it in on any team right now? No.
Berserker's getting fed, and 100 Thieves is dead. C9, 5,000 gold ahead.
Damn, that was some sick rhyming. I'm not gonna lie. You got like 5 or 6 in a row there.
2 or 3 of them were intentional. The last one, you just gotta let it ride. You just gotta let it ride. And right now, Blabber's letting it ride all the way to the bank here. Just gonna pick up some extra gold as soon as he gets this last kill on Quid. There it is. Flash forward for the pounce, the swipe, the takedown, and Blabber's on a killing spree.
And Vulcan, nearly 100% KP. Blabber making that a little bit worse with that solo kill in the side lane. But
be nice to nade shot.
Been everywhere.
Why?
Swifties has just been constantly looking for these fights. Really pivotal for them in this series. And remember,
he doesn't give a shit about League of Legends, guys.
Done. Vulcan goes in for the headbutt. Ayla buffers through it with the dredge line.
The org raised a bunch of money and then just wasted it on a bunch of shit garbage. Like, we're gonna make a AAA video game, guys. Where is it? Where is it? How about a direct-to-consumer energy drink brand? God, there really aren't enough energy drinks on the market, I don't think. Like, this is what happened to their money.
JoJo, everything that 100 Thieves wants to try to do, Vulcan's doing better.
Absolutely. He is stopping every single angle it feels that they are going for at this point. We're 14 minutes.
Do you think the transition to series of BO1s have exposed 100 Thieves? I think 100 Thieves being garbage and not growing has exposed 100 Thieves.
Even with those early kills that they were able to get on JoJo, even with a couple things, they feeling like going 100 Thieves' way, Cloud9 have just been better at every single turn.
The energy drink, look, Magic fan, the energy drink could have been the best energy drink of all time. That doesn't mean that a direct-to-consumer energy drink in a saturated energy drink market is a good way to spend money. I also like low-key hate 100 Thieves because they, like what you guys don't know about 100 Thieves was that they basically burned a ton of sponsors. They like lied about a bunch of bullshit to like big sponsors, and then those sponsors got no value, and then they just like left esports and gaming forever. So like I am very biased against this org because I think they were incredibly duplicitous in the way that they were selling.
Series, and now he's going to get caught again once more. As soon as he goes for the dredge line, Vulcan is ready to intercept. It's a 4v3 for 100 Thieves, but C9 just walks it off. The arrow connects on the Alistar. Unbreakable.
The most egregious one that I hate them for is what they did with Diageo, which was a liquor company, and like their entire fan base can't drink. And so they milked Diageo for a bunch of money, and then Diageo just like was like, fuck gaming.
I mean, this is
and like,
crazy.
I
So
want
completely
Diageo.
unanswered. Cloud9, you know,
because
playing
I
this
have an
game
older
really,
audience.
really well, not over pushing. And this is the largest gold lead at 14. This entire split.
Most of the NA orgs did that though. Yeah, but 100 Thieves was easily the most, like, they just lied a lot of the time.
On the lounge
They were
earlier today in the
super,
pre-show.
they were
And now
super
they're gonna be
deceptive.
that much better after this beating.
And guys, don't blame Nade Shot. Nade Shot is a
100 Thieves.
figurehead.
They weren't even able to take the Herald. They're still hanging around, but man, it's going to be tough.
Don't blame Nade Shot. Nade Shot isn't running this org.
So C9 has all 5 men ready to fight for this one. 100 Thieves is going to try to make an approach. Ayla with the flash over the wall goes for the dredge.
The real king cunt was John Robinson, the president, and he peaced out because he was one of the esports tourists. He was one of the esports tourists, guys. He was only around if esports did well, and now he's like a VP at EA. That guy's a cunt, though.
Both Vulcan getting himself back away. Now remember, there is no unbreakable will available. Jojo still trying to get away down to about 200 HP. A lot of damage on Vulcan and Meat.
As soon as 100 Thieves like failed in everything, failed in esports, failed, and like the esports market dropped out. As soon as it was obvious that none of their other side projects that they were doing were gonna make big money, he just pieced. He just pieced out.
Teleported up to join. So C9 has all 5 men ready to fight.
And it tells you all you need to know that he just went to work as a VP for EA. Tells you everything you need to know.
Jojo has teleported up to join. So C9 has all 5 men ready to fight for this one. 100 Thieves is going to try to make an approach. Ayla with the flash over the wall goes for the dredge line, but he doesn't find Jojo. Instead onto Berserker. Both Vulcan getting himself back away. Now remember, there is no unbreakable will available. Jojo still trying to get away down to about 200 HP. A lot of damage on Vulcan, and Meech is going to get the kill. Blabber secures the find Jojo instead onto Berserker. Both Vulcan getting himself back away. Now remember, there is no unbreakable will available. Jojo still trying to get away down to about 200.
I don't know why we're trying to like get this get this Herald so hard. If we're C9, like why are we committing everything to this Herald? And Jojo plays this terribly. Like he's trying to get the damage down onto River, but then he just gets flashed on and murdered. And so now there is no Jojo in this fight. He has to flash out in order to survive. Really, really bad team fight from C9. Gotta give these flowers. These Rap God passages are really good. He's a good caster.
Considering the Rift Herald doesn't even get claimed, they'll be pretty happy about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Flowers is definitely the most entertaining part of watching this game, I'll tell you that.
And get a slightly positive trade down this much gold.
Oh, he missed
not able to stop the recall, not able to grab the eye, unfortunately for him, but still very, very firmly in the driver's
Good caster,
seat.
but not top 3. I mean, he's not top 3 all time.
A lot of talk about
There's a lot of good casters in the league. You guys have been blessed.
Saying he's not him. That kind of spawned all that discussion in spring.
Yep.
Do you think he's back? Is it fair to say? Is it fair to declare? Or
Did I like Zyrene? Personally, not very much.
Gotta do it on somebody that's not Zeri. That's kind of where I'm at. All of the Berserker highlight reel has been on Zeri. He had his kind of slump. He's back on Zeri.
Okay.
So this is the beginning of the good vibes for Berserker, I would feel like. If he can put up this kind of a performance again, he might beat him again. He might beat him. Jojo is burning. Any other champion, I would say.
Nice flash on Blabber's pounce there.
It's JoJo and Blabber traded away for
It's pretty
Ayla.
big.
You will take that every day of the week for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a flashback to spring for Cloud9. A couple random deaths after the strong early game.
LCS so dead. Oracle's Elixir and GLGG didn't even update this last week of games. They didn't? Dude, Leaguepedia didn't have the games updated when I looked the other day. There may be something wrong with the API if all of those sites don't have the LCS games up. They probably broke it during their fucking vacation.
Sniper wants to go in for this. The ulti used by Thanatos, though. Sniper tries to get away from it, and not today. Thanatos gets his revenge for the solo kill in game number 1. He's getting one of his own here in game number 2. Put his name on the scoreboard. Both these boys are even. The battle for Rookie of the Year.
Yep, they're battling it out. And Mossy, we can't forget about him. I think he's another big candidate. Obviously, there's another number of other candidates, including Meech, Mask, Castle, etc. But I do think it's really down to Thanatos, Sniper, or Masu in my eyes. Those are the 3 that I think are likely going to be competing for it at the end of the day.
Well, top laners are an island, man. So the only dude who you can really mess with his prospects is the enemy top laner. If an enemy AD carry gets it, that's just team div. But as long as the enemy top laner doesn't get it, you can feel good.
For running the same comp, C9 look better this game. Do you think Reaper made them run back the same draft to learn? Look, it would be hard to miss as many spears as they missed last game, which was causing them to do badly. Also, like, Thanatos took a much better kind of 1v1 this game when he found that opportunity to go into enemy jungle. So I think it was just a lot of individual misplays last game, and it'd be hard. I think it'd be very hard for C9 to replicate that 2 games in a row. It would be truly disastrous.
All right, it's quiz time, chat.
Okay.
How many monitors would we have to turn off on the C9 side for 100 Thieves to win this game?
Well, I think River's monitor might be looking a little black and white right now.
You need to at least turn off 1 monitor, but you need to turn off multiple monitors from this position.
2
monitors.
No, if you turn off 100 Thieves wins, like, it's a professional team. You can't win a.
They're still allowed to play with
You couldn't lose a 5 versus 4, surely. Especially with 2 TPs. If you turn JoJo or Thanatos monitor off, the game is just over through side laning. You come back just off of waves eventually.
I'm seeing 3. I'm seeing 5.
5 monitors.
We got a 7 in chat. That guy's drunk.
That guy, yeah, that
There's
guy's
not even that many monitors.
He just means that we have to turn 2 of our monitors off as well, so that we can't cast or curse
The coaches have to turn off
yeah,
their
there you go.
monitors.
Well, I mean, dude, I don't think Reaper's watching anyway. He was just kind of lounging back behind the stage.
Yeah, he's for sure playing Elden Ring.
Yeah, dude, he's having a great time back there.
Cooking up a
he's
new
leveling
build.
up his anima power in Swarm. There's a lot of levels on that.
Yeah, there are.
You gotta put your hours in.
I was, can they choose who is off? You can choose.
Yeah.
You can choose. Some pretty high estimations, though. I got 12 in there. We got some 3s. It looks like averaging around 3.
Okay, 3 monitors. All right, so chat has less faith than I do. Vulcan, Thanatos, and Berserker are just going to bury.
What do you say about this? It's just a complete shitstomp. 9,000 or 8,500 gold. 20 minutes.
Pretty perfectly here with the Baron about to spawn. I don't know if C9 is going to go for this early of a rush on it. Meech and the rest of 100 Thieves.
Are they playing under the stands in the dungeon for these games?
It is C9 deciding, hey, all in, go for Baron, make him come here and fight us if nothing else. TP about to
They
show
appear
up.
to be in the dungeon from what I'm looking at.
His way in here first, but you're going to see 100 Thieves
I think this is dungeon week on LCS.
They are in a 4v5. One sniper spawns in 10 seconds. He's away. 100 Thieves in pursuit. Sniper looking to block their exit. He shows up in the
We have the power of fast forward, and we have the power of 1, the power of 2, the power of many.
JoJo dies next. 4v3 for 100 Thieves as Blabber continues his escape. Berserker is so unconcerned. He's going to make sure he gets the red before he leaves. Blabber just keeping their attention elsewhere as C9 will end up losing 2 for 1 in players, but they walk away with a Baron.
Why am I torturing myself watching this? Well, I'm hoping it actually ends soon.
Well, he is playing.
Stop that.
Okay, I know. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous line of thinking.
It's a dark and lonely path.
It's a dangerous line of thinking. I know. But do you realize that if Cloud9 wins this game, that in just a single series, Cloud9 will triple the total number of Nidalee wins in the LCS? In just a single series.
I will show you a very funny meme, though.
Truly
Hold up.
a time to be alive.
Yes, one of the stats of all time.
I'm going to find a meme instead of pay attention to you guys.
Recorded. All
right, paying attention to this game.
Really would like this game to not be recorded, honestly. This one has been trouble for the Thieves from minute 1 all the way back, man. I mean, just remembering the way that the jungle went early with River losing that blue buff to 3 HP and then getting solo killed by Thanatos. It's just been a nightmare from the very start. C9 We thought that the first game
Where
was
is
going
it?
good from the start, but this one even more so. Here's another look at how this play went down. Vulcan just trying to keep him busy while the
here
rest
it
of the
is.
team burned the Baron.
I mean, Quick got a lot of poke in there. His first big one hit 3 members, hit Berserker, Jojo, and Blabber. So a lot of poke was put down.
I'll show you guys in a
and
second.
Kind of use Ayla as well as Meech here with the slows to look for these chase downs. Vulcan was always going to die, so he's just going to try to buy team for the rest, time for the rest of the team.
Yeah.
Sniper TP's in, and you think, okay, this could be a huge moment, but then you realize they are this far behind. Everyone just turns on him, and he's immediately forced to run. They do get a
I'm a
kill,
huge
though, on
Blabber
the
believer
Zeri, so
personally.
why
I
not
mean,
get a little
I don't
bit
think
fast
Blabber's
and
played very
loose
well the
with
last
this
couple of
massive lead
games.
that they have built
Like,
up.
Yeah,
you
not
can
really
look at his
sure we really
scoreline
get to
that
see what led to Berserker
I
being
have
there.
not been
He still
impressed.
has his flash up. He still has his ult up. His cleanse is on cooldown. So I'm guessing he was just a little too overconfident, stepped into some CC that he wasn't prepared for. As 100 Thieves, 100, that's the amount of gold that you get for killing the buff. So for 100 Thieves, at least you're glad that C9 didn't really get a whole lot out of that early Baron take. Sometimes we see those just completely bulldoze the game as Meech is forced to flash away from Jojo's culling.
Yeah, Jojo got Quid makes it a little bit closer as he does collect a bounty on that top side. He's the only one that has an advantage for his squad. Everyone very far behind, so let's see how this did happen. Looks like he wanted to try to interrupt Quid's recall. Just kind of got baited. They were all
He did get
lying
baited.
away.
That was
Quid
cute.
starts recalling. I wonder if they had tracked that ward. If they did, credit to them. And he just kind of starts that recall up. Looks like
Is Jojo the best
Zeri
mechanical
goes
NA
forward
player?
and just
Probably. He's
caught
very good.
on all sides.
Well, the third Drake for Cloud9 is about to drop here. Blabber will bring them to Soul Point. It's
Best
over 4,000
LCS
gold lead in
jungler
top
right
lane. It's
now?
over
I mean,
2K in the
Inspired
jungle. You
gets
already mentioned
trolled
the
by his
3,000
team, guys.
in the 80
Inspired
carry
gets
role.
trolled by his
I mean,
team. I think
honestly,
he's definitely the
advantage
best.
that Quid had, Vulcan has
Like,
the same
if
amount of advantage over
Inspired's
AF,
bot
so it
lane
is
wasn't
neutralized
trolling
by the
him
power of the
constantly.
cow, who has honestly neutralized so many plays that 100 Thieves has tried to make this game. It's been really impressive.
Go wide on Jojo.
Jojo gets the kill on River, and now C9 ain't feeling too scared at all. Baron not going to spawn for another minute and a half. Drake was just taken by them, but Sniper trying to come in here on the flank. 100 Thieves still thinking maybe they got a chance to try to fight something here. Sniper's all out, but it ain't going to matter. Ayla drops, Berserker, get Cloud9.
This one the way they
Anything else, the
And
ace
this is
credit
just
goes
beating
over
them
to
up with their
Blabber.
wallets at this
Ayla's
point in
back
time.
alive, but it
Cloud9
don't
actually took a
matter.
very
The
long,
Nexus
I
is
know it's
exposed.
25 minutes, but it took a
26
very long
minutes
time to
into the
close
game.
out,
Cloud9 hits
considering
100
how
Thieves
dominant they
even
were.
harder the second time. They'll 2-0 this series.
Here you guys go. I thought this was hilarious. On Twitter.
If you only knew the power of one, the power of two, the power of many. If you only knew the power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
So good. It's so good. Noah sent that to me. Okay. Time for some LEC shenanigans.
A very good look against MDK, particularly that game 2.
I think Carmine Corp did play
full
pretty
control
well
the entire way through, so I think everyone
against
kind of
Mad Lions.
and taking another look at KC to kind of go, well, where exactly do you now land in the grand scheme of things?
For Carmine Corp, of course, need to
Power
make
of
top
many.
3 in summer if they're going to make it to the season finals. SK thanking BDS for winning earlier today. They're already into our season finals alongside G2 Fnatic, MDK, and BDS. So, Vi and Kaiser removed by SK on the blue side. Rumble and Gnar taken away by Carmine Corp. The Gnar obviously targeted towards Irrelevant. There's the Zeri ban. So already 280 carries taken out of the pool, but not the two we have seen most commonly today. Tristana and Ashe still available.
Haven't you see the other white English League guys in Korea? Ever hang out with LS or the LCK English team? Well, you don't have to be white. I saw D-Gun pretty recently. And Wolf's a good friend of mine. I haven't seen LS since I've been here.
I kind of look at Closer in the same vein where he wants these strong, proactive early game junglers, and that's why we saw the Vi banned away specifically against him.
Sejuani also going to be taken away by the looks of things. So they're really trying to put some pressure on Closer and his board.
I saw a bunch of them at Wolf's wedding. That was the last. I don't get out much, guys, because I'm not in Seoul. Otherwise, I would see them more. And like, I had another baby in January, so I haven't. Ever since January, I haven't been out that much.
Will it be AP junglers with Syra, Brand?
Is LS still a hermit, or is he actually going out more now? I have no idea.
We didn't really get to see a huge amount of them earlier in the BDS versus Giant X series. The Ezreal right now is the hub for. Well, it could be Vladdy, it could be Upset.
But I have 2 kids, so I don't get to see anybody anymore.
His Ezreal was something that he was very well known for when he debuted on the scene.
Yeah, and I think it's just trying to force him onto something that's not Kaisa, because you can see it's already banned away. This has been the go-to for Upset. He has looked fantastic on it. His aggressiveness in fights has really been the standout performer for Carmine Corp in a lot of these kind of skirmishes that we see. So now putting him on towards the Ezreal, still a very strong champion for him, but certainly.
Okay, so Zeri, so we're banning champs against upsets and closers early game and taking away the Sejuani, so we're giving upset. I mean, upset has been playing well, I think.
Ever since they joined the LEC. They've tried Carmine Corp to
So we're now going over to Maokai, so some more crowd control, engage junglers. Vladdy's been pretty good, I have to say. I think Vladdy, this split, his Talia and his Hero have looked good.
Braum ban is a good one, I think, especially against Misfortune. Sejuani as well. Braum can be a great just mediator at soaking up that initiation. But Leona, Rel, both still available. The ones most played so far in summer has been the Rel. A great initiation champion. Of course, a lot of mobility on the side of Carmine Corp with the
upsets definitely looked a lot better. Targamas has actually been pretty good, especially on some of the engaged champs like Nautilus.
So Targamas is going to go for Rakan. You wanted to be really aggressive in the lane. The sad bullet time level of combination here for SK Gaming.
I mean, yeah, it's a very straightforward composition.
Okay, we're going for, this is what SK is doing is like an LPL style comp with Ken and MF. These Wombo comps have become massively popular. But the thing is, we're picking it blind. We're picking the Ken and blind, so we're actually just going to get poke. So the problem here. So let's talk about these compositions. So MF is great because you build BT and you just hang out solo while your support wanders around the map killing people. There's good flank here, right? But you are in fact outranged. You know, the Azir Ezreal combination is going to outrange you. So the poke threat, and Jace obviously. So the poke threat's going to be super real here, and this really should be Carmine Corp about disengage, right? Disengage with Maokai ultimate, try and prevent Kennen flanks, you know, mark Kennen on the side with Maokai or with Rakan, try and make sure he can't get in.
Jace, the amount of just long-range, consistent DPS that they have at their disposal.
So we have to watch Closer's ults very closely because he is going to be the primary disengage tool, and that's very important, right?
With Maokai and Rakan just being very...
And MF has to be very careful about where she ults because she could just eat a fuck ton of poke from Jace and Azir and Ezreal and die.
Is ultimately in their own hands. As long as they keep winning, they can qualify top 3, they can qualify for season finals.
They can win worlds.
They have a chance to make them worlds, right?
Again, just don't stop winning. It's simple.
Yeah, it's really simple. You just got to win. If they do fall short here, that will be the end of their year. No season finals, no ability to qualify for the World Championship.
I will say, though, like, this is a team that I definitely want to see more of. It feels like they have finally found their identity, and they've been playing incredibly well as a unit. So even if it is here where they fall, like, this is a team that should be incredibly proud of what they've managed to achieve, but this is not kind of as even, or well, as one-sided as people would have thought at the start of the split. Like, KC had become a force to be reckoned with, and SK have to be very careful with this squad.
Yeah, KC has been slowly kind of getting better, and Rahel and Luan have been great. But, like, Isma's been a bit iffy. Niski still is Niski, so he can randomly end. Irrelevant's been very good.
Outer edge of the pack of the top teams in Europe. This will be a great benchmark to identify where they sit in Europe right now. We jump into the laning phase, we look at the early pathing, we can see both junglers starting on the bot side of the map, pathing towards top. We talked about how potentially volatile it can be, but already in the
okay, upset cleanses ignite.
Uses cleanse ignite was taking there from Luan. That's one of the reasons you often crash down, get that shield on the Rel before the lane begins, because then you just get that little flip. Upset flip back, doesn't have the arcane shift, still only level 1, and SK will get the push in this bot side.
Level 2 going to be coming in very soon for SK, and KC's bot lane has to respect it. I wonder if the junglers will deviate from their pathing to compensate for the aggression, or instead they'll leave them to their own devices. Meanwhile, Kana getting that bit of early pressure on the top side of the map.
Yeah, I think this is where the most volatile matchup is and why we're seeing both junglers trying to tend up towards this way. Kana doing a great job to get those early trades in his favor, but certainly going to expect a lot of a jungle to potentially try and get this at either side, because that poke can be very... Ooh, hang on.
Nice flash.
Upset, no cleanse. Remember, cleanse away from the exhaust and upset. One more auto from Rahali.
To expect a lot of a jungle to potentially try and get this at either side.
I mean, he is literally trying to walk up to Q a minion. He actually misses the CS and then gets flash Q'd all in. They still have cleanse, so the cleanse used on exhaust and flashing. Okay, terrible. He was literally greeting for that minion. He was greeting for that minion. He didn't even get it. Because this minion moves in front of this one. So he gets trolled by the minion pathing on the wave, so he doesn't even get the minion. I think he would have gotten two if he had gotten that minion too. I think literally he gets, if he doesn't get trolled by the wave there, I think he gets level 2 and has E, by the way. Which is really shitty. He gets trolled by the minion. Look at that. Look at that. He gets trolled by the minion, because if he gets that Q and kills that minion, I think he's level 2 and he can E.
Because that poke can be very... Ooh, hang on.
Flash start, upset, no cleanse. Remember, cleanse away from the exhaust and upset. One more auto from Rahali. Flashes for it.
I'm pretty sure he got trolled by the wave there.
From Rahel and Luan, upset, not able to get out of harm's way, and just like that, the duo kill picking up one for SK.
I mean, this is the star power.
Beautiful stuff from
Because
Rahel
when
and
does
Luan, upset.
Targamas hits 2 off of what?
Remember, cleanse away from the exhaust and upset. One more auto from Rahali. Flashes for it. They get it.
Beautiful stuff from Rahel and Luan.
Yep, that one melee minion die triggers Targamas level 2. So yeah, Targamas, they were. I'm pretty sure that even if they were both there.
From the spot lane that we saw from the regular season,
yes, I know. I know the purple bar. That's what I'm looking at. My question was, does this go to level 2 with one more melee minion? I think the answer is yes.
They find a way to get his flash, and they even convert it into a kill. Great start for SK.
Like 99% sure the answer is yes. But he does get trolled by the pathing of that minion. So I think his idea was, oh, if I hit this Q, I get level 2 and I have E, so that's a lot safer.
Able to punish. Did have to use all their sums to do so, including that ignite earlier for the cleanse. Isma's going to trade him onto closer. Doesn't quite get the.
But the minion, the other melee minion trolled him.
But we'll get the permafrost. Kana starting to collapse here. Goes through the acceleration gate. Isma dashes back towards Irrelevant. Niski's the first to move from mid.
Irrelevant?
On his way as well. Kana
Irrelevant?
with Irrelevant, who has to flash away, and Kana takes the kill. Isma could look for him. No flash now on that. Jason Niski flashes forward for it. The gasoline gun rat-a-tat-tatting into the back of Kana in the end. Even though the phosphorus bomb misses, Kana will fall to Niski.
So nicely done. They end up getting at least the kill on towards Irrelevant now. Kana can TP back in, but in the grand scheme of things, mid wasn't really in a position where Niski's going to lose out on a huge amount. You're going to have both top laners die, so it doesn't really net any kind of advantage for either side in the grand scheme of things.
I mean, I will say, SK, no flashes anywhere.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a chaotic situation. I like the idea here from KC.
Does C9 look like shit? Yes.
That Jace has the push. He's able to win out in the early matchup between the cannon.
Like that's not C9 is not a good team, guys.
Even though he has a health disadvantage, he says, you know what? I think we can commit to this fight and 2v2 win. And
but 100 Thieves is really bad. So
Isma tries to slow
I mean, I didn't leave like thinking, oh yeah, C9 definitely going to beat Team Liquid in a BF5, you know?
There's nothing I can do. I'm just going to waste their time. He knows he's going to die, so instead he'll just drag Niski all the way down the top lane to make sure that he is just wasting as much time as possible. Ends up being a 1-for-1, but now there's a potential replay dive up towards the top side, given the lack of summoner spells on the side of SK.
It'd be very difficult for Kennen if he starts to lose out in a lane like this. You're just constantly harassed and dived, as you say, Valari.
Vladdy's the player.
Yes, yeah. But we'll see as well if perhaps Niski's punished in the mid lane, because although he has the Valkyrie, when Vladdy gets 6, you can just try and slide in. Emperors divide him back. Luan joining up with Rahel down towards the bottom side. This wave slowly pushing towards them, so SK bot lane doesn't have to worry about anything like a freeze right now.
Yeah, I think you're relatively happy as Rahel and Luan on the bot side. Getting that early kill means you get the early Vamp Scepter, which makes it very difficult for what is essentially a mostly poke lane to poke you out of this one. So going to be able to continue to keep this pressure up. And again, I think it's more...
C9 has only beaten the worst teams. Yeah, and they didn't look convincing while doing it. People will say like, oh, well, they had a huge gold lead. It's like, well, if you use your eyes, it wasn't that great.
Void Grubs are going to be up, but Upset and Targamas being able to get control.
Yeah, their strength of schedule has been super weak. Do you still duo with Doa? I don't know what that means.
Well, that battle between Rahel and Upset down towards the bottom side is one we have to keep our eyes on throughout the course of the series.
Doa and I recorded our episode 8 watch along, the boys episode 8 watch along right before I started streaming. That was pretty funny. So we'll do our complete season review on the boys this week.
They did take different paths through the playoffs, right?
Nothing happened this season of the boys. It was all fake drama.
Stood out during the regular season, and we had high expectations for him, especially in
That's what really fell off, unfortunately.
Where they weren't quite able to perform. Noah really did pop off in that best of 3. I mean, while Upset really has continued to just be a strong carry for KC. And so far, Rahel has been able to get the better of Upset in the 2v2
Which
lane.
season did I watch? I mean, I've seen all of the seasons, but this was on the most recent season.
Already. He's going to be able to leverage that incredibly well. He's making his way up towards the rest of his team. We talked about this before yesterday, Dag. The strut just gives you so much value when it comes to roaming from lane to lane. He's going to make his way back towards bot as the grubs are secured for SK. 2 for 1 is the ultimate exchange. KC fishing for a bit of a pick, but they realize nothing really going to come off the back of this.
Ultimately, it's just a nice bluff from Rahel. He leaves bot lane, goes over a ward, is like, oh my god, I'm moving up to Void Grubs, better back off, but then just immediately loops back around and heads down to bot lane. So won't lose out on the wave, but at least...
Did I not like Season 3? I mean, the end of Season 3 was trash. But I liked the Soldier Boy narrative, but then Soldier Boy was just disappeared for this entire season. They literally just undid all of everything in last season. And then, spoilers, at the end of this season, they're like, oh, Soldier Boy's back. I'm like, oh my god.
The series before this one, we saw usually Dragon and Grubs exchanged, recognizing that it wasn't even worth trying to fight for the Grubs, instead we'll just try and prioritize the Dragon. But this time around, both teams set their sights on the Grubs, and we'll see if both want to try and contest this Dragon or whether it will be another late one. We have been seeing some Dragons starting later and later, 10, 12 minutes into the game, rather than being an early priority.
Season 4 was shit.
Closer, both hovering around the mid lane, mainly there to cover for Vladdy, making sure that he's not in any danger as he looks to try and push out this wave.
It does mean that you can't cover for Rahel on bot side. So I think with the wave push now on the bottom side, you can see Closer immediately decides to start up Dragon because he knows he's got Upset already with that. So they should be able to secure this one. Potential for a cross map as you look towards where Luan is. Could look for a dive onto Kana. His flash is just about to come back up.
Yeah, and Luan's spotted on a ward as well, so Kana could just play safe, hug his tower. Doesn't really have to be a threat under anything. Wave not really pushed in too quickly either, although Irrelevant can rectify that situation. Only the second time we've seen Irrelevant competitively on the Cannon. Last time was all the way back in 2021, where he played it against Game Ward when he was on Team BDS in the LFL. Went 1-6-5 on that occasion, so I'm pretty sure he's looking to have a better day of it today.
I imagine so. I like Targamas' pathing here, able to cover for any potential dive onto Karnet. Upset, hesitant to step up in the lane. He knows how scary this MF is, and he lacks a lot of crucial information right now. So he's just trying to farm as safely as he can. Wise play from him. Yeah, we're entering a bit of a lull in the mid game. There's no real objectives to play for. The next grub spawning in about a minute and a half.
It feels like a lot of what SK are doing is foregoing pressure elsewhere in the map to just try and get Relevant into a good spot against kind of where...
Yeah, this is where it gets really annoying. Like, as BT gets closer to completing, like, Rahel just gets to solo lane, and Luan gets to be unlocked on the map, and you just get... Look at this, just constant pressure, because you're with the MF, like, you bully, and then any damage you take is just canceled out by life stealing, basically. And now BT is done, so this is where you can unlock your support for second grubs.
The level advantage over Kana for the time being. Oh, my stand corrected.
And we have a tank Maokai, who might actually be able to absorb some of the damage as they go through. I think he'll need to, as well as Targamas already spots out Luan. Isma just trying to support, but I do think at this stage it's kind of on Closer to keep Irrelevant in check in these fights, either through ult usage, twisted advance or just being able to CC the rest of the team.
Is the boys even good? I really like the first 2 seasons, but you know, end of season 3 and season 4 are pretty shit.
Crucial difference here though is Vladdy is staying with his team as Niski's being sent to bot. He has the TP available. It's KC that will start this objective off.
Looks like it might just be given across to them. Vladdy actually skipping boots to go straight for the Nash's tooth. Just went ring straight into the tooth. TP into the top lane by Kana, but Carmine Corp are going to be able to secure 4 grubs here unless something untoward happens. They get 3, they get 4. Can Closer get out? I believe the answer is yes. No real chase there from SK.
Wow, uncontested. I'm a little surprised. I thought that by sending Niski bot, their plan was always to TP, but maybe they just made the call, you know what, there's an opportunity to get a bunch of plates down bot lane. Vladdy's going to TP to stop the push continuing from Niski.
The thing is a lot of the acting performances are really good in the boys. So like Homelander, Billy Butcher, I mean, the acting's really good. So if you can get over, I mean, whatever, it's mid. The answer is it's mid. It's like it had some high points in the early seasons. The storylines are pretty stupid now. The acting's still good.
Both the TPs were invested by Carmine Corp to make that play.
House of the Dragon has been dragging a bit the last 2 episodes. No, it hasn't. Bullshit.
A couple of plates went over to SK, and because of that, they're about 1.5k ahead, but nothing too monumental as of yet. Irrelevant on the wrong side of this. Flash is
all right, Flash is Closer over the wall here with his W.
Backup for Irrelevant means that Closer can just phase rush his way away.
All right, well, I mean, just getting rid of the Flash on this cannon is pretty nice, though. Oh, he's just not going to have it for Drake or for any Herald engagements. So he's losing the top lane too. This cannon just feels like he's going to be completely useless this game.
Closest job is to mark Irrelevant. Rakan can do that relatively well as well, especially with the exhaust. Just if the cannon tries to get in without Flash.
Is it true that the Acolyte is a revolutionary Star Wars masterpiece? Yes. But you shouldn't watch the Acolyte. You should watch the Nerd Legion show that we just released this week about the Acolyte instead, because you would like to hear about what a genius show Star Wars the Acolyte is. So head on over to Last Free Nation Culture and watch our most recent video.
When he's a secondary engage anyway, following up on someone else's initiation. You want people to have burnt some of their mobility, because then you can really catch them out with the CC. SK going to be able to get the Scuttle Crab. 15 seconds on the Drake would be SK's first of the game. Carmine Corp have had their pick of the neutral objectives early on in this game. Struck forward by Rahel, upset dashes away with the Arcane Shift.
Still just able to keep pressure here, and that's exactly what we're talking about with this Misfortune pick. It's so difficult to trade into.
It's actually insane how many people think the Acolyte is amazing. It is crazy that people like that show. It is super bad.
Sort of trade, because she'll just heal it back up. So upset, sent packing. And that's where SK just using that thread the MF made, right, to lean into sides here, set up the Dragon, and are very likely going to do a similar story here to try and look for the Rift Herald, but now Kana trying to use those 4 grubs.
Slicing Master coming out from Irrelevant. More to clear the wave than anything I thought!
What?
Going to do a similar story here to try and look for
the
Rift Herald, but now
Kana just standing here.
Slicing Master coming out from Irrelevant.
Oh my god, that damage though. I didn't expect that.
Kana, I think, realizing there was a
try and look for the Rift Herald, but now Kana trying to use those 4 grubs.
Slicing Master coming out from Irrelevant. More to clear the wave than anything I thought! Kana, I think, realizing there was a TP behind him, decided to go all out. Irrelevant taking the out from Irrelevant. More to clear.
Kana took a shower shot too, yep.
And are very likely going to do a similar story here to try and look for the Rift Herald, but now Kana trying to use those 4 grubs.
Slicing Master coming out from Irrelevant. More to clear the wave than anything I thought! Kana, Master coming out from Irrelevant. More to clear the wave
for the Rift Herald, but now Kana trying to use those 4 grubs.
Slicing Master coming out from Irrelevant. More to clear
the tower shots really fucked him up.
Kana, I think, realizing there was a TP behind him, decided to go all out. Irrelevant taking the kill in the 1v1.
Well, crucially, Kana took a tower shot in that all-in, which I think was just a nice play overall from Irrelevant, because, I mean, wow, I wasn't expecting that whatsoever. I didn't think he would actually have enough damage to 100-0.
It's crazy that he's able to pull that off without Flash when Jace has Flash up.
Trying to use those 4 grubs.
Slicing Master coming out from Irrelevant. More to clear the wave than anything.
I like how they were trying to make this play and Niski TP's in, but he doesn't get to do anything.
I think realizing there was a TP behind him, decided to go all out. Irrelevant taking the kill in the 1v1.
Well, crucially, Kana took a tower shot in that all-in, which I think was just a nice play overall from Irrelevant. I want to realize because the TP, I think the whole game plan was I'm setting up a play for Niski to then come and clean up, right?
And it's oftentimes why we see in this matchup early Merc threads coming through for the Jace. Doesn't actually go for it in this time around, and not having that magic resist definitely came back to bite him a little bit. Couldn't get the knock away from the ultimate because he was CC'd for so long as well. And ends up falling down. Nice job from SK to get that kill.
Is SK out of final playoffs? No.
Because they saw the TP from Niski top end.
Yeah, and good cross map.
Like the season playoffs? No.
600 gold, they steal away a red buff.
This is losers bracket, so they're out of summer playoffs.
But SK will take a tower of their own. First tower does still give you more gold, and although there is still a gold lead for SK, it's shrunk to less than 1,000 their advantage now. Feels a lot like the first series of the day, lads.
Well, I mean, it's the nature of the comps, right?
Yeah.
I mean, SK want a team fight, KC want to scale. They're kind of waiting for the kind of mid to late game objectives, which are getting close to, admittedly. Both teams at 1 dragon. The 3rd dragon of the game will likely be the next big point of contention. Unfortunately, that is 3 minutes away, so that means that teams funnel on prioritizing Adam as
side. Well, at least that they invest in the bottom side. I think you could try and move that in towards mid lane, but with how low top lane tower is as well, I think you are fine to try and make a play here, but having invested that much of your vision on the bottom side, it's going to take a long L wall for you to actually set up enough information on the top half for Carmine Corp to actually go for some sort of play, and then SK try to punish that lack of information by playing very far forward here.
You can see Luan and Niski kind of holding the line so that Targamas and the rest of Carmine Corp don't have any easy route into the mid lane. They have to go back behind the Razor Beaks. The Rift Tower charges in, and although it doesn't take the tower, a single love tap from Rahel will do so. So it's 2 towers to 1. Might be more as SK transition their pressure into the bottom side. Irrelevant already pushed up this wave, and you can see Kana backing all the way to the tier 2 to make sure he's safe. SK will be able to get...
It's actually more boring than 100 Thieves versus C9. Yeah, I mean, at least there were Fiestas than 100 Thieves versus C9. But, you know, Carmine Corp, they just want to kind of scale here, right? So, I mean, their poke is going to be pretty crazy later, and they bought themselves a lot of time.
As Targamas, yeah, he'll be able to get out. But if you're looking at the reverse side, if Rahel is able to get a lot of control over mid, suddenly Luon can start to lean into these side lanes, change the impact of Irrelevant versus Kana, give an opportunity for Niski to find that play on Vladdy, and I think that's where KC are going to start to struggle now.
I mean, KC is slowly but surely going to poke at their disposal. Flanks are going to be terrifying to have to deal with. You have to make sure you control your flank queue permanently.
The Infernal Soul is also pretty crazy for Carmine Corp if they can actually manage to get it.
Bear in mind, he is only level 6 right now. And
Luan's only 7.
Yeah, poor supports. Especially without the Warmonks completed. Here we are, Dragon 35 seconds. That's going to be the objective that we're keeping our eyes on. Irrelevant wants to push out that top wave, so Isma's going to shadow him to make sure that he can get that push, along with securing the crab.
Cohesion through, so Carmine Corp actually in a decent position to try and go for this.
TP behind. Kana's up towards the top side. Magnastorm. Closer getting pulled back. Trying to
the Luon just put through, so Carmine Corp actually in a
So they do need to actually kite out of this.
Kana's up towards the top side.
It's a good flank angle here, and Carmine Corp isn't together.
Trying to get away, but the Nature's Grasp will only save him for a second.
Well, that's problematic.
Still he falls. Irrelevant goes in with the slicing mouse from upset with the cleanse immediately. Irrelevant able to survive. Close him in the end, takes him with the Leandries, but Targamas pays for it with his life. SK find 2, Vladdy and upset.
Kana's just not there, right?
Kana's up towards the top side. Magnastorm. Closer getting pulled.
It's weird that they're pushing so far forward for vision. Like, it's weird they're, I mean, sure, they've got Rakan, so he can jump back to closer. But with all of them there and the amount of engage from the Rel and Sejuani, it's really hard for him to get out of that.
The Nature's Grasp will only save him for a second. Twisted advance forward. Still he falls. Irrelevant goes in with the slicing mouse from upset with the cleanse immediately. Irrelevant able to survive. Close him in the end. Takes him with the Leandries, but Targamas pays for it with his life. SK find 2, Vladdy and upset. Still healthy enough to
I am glad he went for the actual rocket belt first, though. A lot of the LPL cannons have not been doing that. They've been going Leandries, sometimes not even building rocket belt at all. And I feel like it's just so essential to have that.
Don't have those Warmogs completed yet. We see the initiation come through, and it starts with a TP along with an engage from Luon.
Yeah, the vision hadn't been cleared out by KC in that bottom half, so nice teleport ward for Irrelevant to come in, but even then, like,
playing way too aggressively when they don't have any priority on the map.
Try and set up for the continual, but Targamas kind of spots him out. They end up getting Irrelevant off the back of it, so it's a 1-for-1, and Targamas couldn't quite get the distance it looks like to E back over towards Vladdy. So it will be 2 kills over, but KC back out onto the map first are able to get the dragon.
It's interesting they actually get the Drake here, though.
Good play for KC, right? You end up trading 2 for 1, 1 for 1. And you end up securing the dragon, setting yourself up nicely. Of course.
All right, huge TP edge though for Carmine Corp, so they can actually make a play potentially. If they can draw somebody to overextend in a side lane right now, they can make a TP play, get a kill, maybe transition it into a Baron.
He's not going to take any gamble, so now we can't.
Yeah, SK wants to play really passively here while they wait for TP.
And it looks like they're trying to get on towards Kana in this top side, but I don't know if you got the follow-up here.
No one jumps forward. Shadowing Strike is going to connect. Isma dashing across the wall. Glacial Prism will get the slow. Kana still has Flash here. Isma stepping further forward. Flashes away the TP.
They're mega overforcing this.
He's stunned before he can get to Niski, and the Magna Storm comes down. Closer down to half HP. Luan just surviving.
Super lucky Luan doesn't die. Nice shuffle.
Flash out as well, but immediately delivers the slicing mountain to his backline. Upsetting closer. The last 2 standing for Carmine Corp.
It's a close fight, a 2v3 affair. I felt like SK was over-forcing that fight incredibly hard. Once the TP came
SK was really over-forcing that when they didn't have TP. That was scary.
They're able to make it work. A clutch, irrelevant ultimate gets shut down very quickly by Upset. And it ends up being a 2 for 3. No major objectives going to go on either side. It's just going to be a couple kills traded.
Yeah, I agree with you though, Betty. I thought that was going to be the way.
Lots of flashes down now for next Drake.
The fact that you end up like missing with the ultimate kind of ends up getting away, but
it's actually pretty good because Cannon Flash is going to be back up now, and you're going to have TP ult up or TP up again. So TP advantage now over to SK. Play around this Drake very effectively, I think, if you're SK.
Connects onto Upset, who has the cleanse back up. Closer goes in with the twisted advance, but he falls first. Irrelevant gets him. And the Hextech rocket belt.
Another pick secured. Targamas was the target, but it ends up being Closer who drops. He doesn't have the flash, and once SK commits to the play in mid, Kana could be in some danger.
Isma dashes forward just for the Gromp, gonna steal away some of this jungle. Irrelevant could look for a slicing Maelstrom, but
move that vision. Well, the vision they've already established in this bottom side, they want to try and play around for the dragon in a minute and a half. So again, push in this mid wave, continue to keep
the TPs into the top lane to get a little bit.
Okay, flash TP up for irrelevant.
If he wants to try and get in behind KC.
Close has a blast cone to get in here. This feels risky. Control ward in the pit. Carmine Corp group up as 5. Niski takes a chunk. Irrelevant still looking for that flank position, but Targum's marking him well. Closer sitting on that blast cone, the Baron sitting on 2000. It begins to reset as SK look for the engagement. Targum with a good knockup. The Baron's going to be taken by Carmine Corp.
Oh my God, they got the Baron!
Sitting on that blast cone, the Baron
so right here, the Baron doesn't actually reset because Closer goes into the pit and then ults them so they can't re-engage and they just focus Baron. Oh my God.
Alongside Targamas, but KC have pulled up the heist of the century. Take a Baron for the cost of your top and support, you take that any day.
That's silly.
Way too low, and now SK will try and get.
It's probably worth it to trade though. You get 2 kills, you're gonna get the tier 2 in mid, you're gonna get the Drake, so it's actually not that bad that they got the Baron. Like they focused the Baron, but they lost the fight and they're gonna lose other pieces of the map.
I mean, we'll see how much KC can really get off the back of this Baron because they lost kills, they're losing objectives.
Yeah, it's not great, honestly.
Still have control over the map. We turn our attention to Vladdy, who turned his attention towards top. He's going to try and push and walk this wave into that tower.
Luan flank. Irrelevant has TP as well. Closer is on his way across. They know Vladdy's here. Ooh.
Luan's going to make a good play here. Nice.
Doesn't really want to do much more than that.
It's fine. You're just wasting Baron time.
From Irrelevant was, no, I want to catch top wave. I don't want to overcommit. But let's look back at this play. So the Baron is obviously started off by SK. They turn and look to fight. Closer ends up going into the pit, and he keeps it aggroed. And the range from Vladdy and Upset, they just keep doing it. SK's attention is entirely drawn onto the fight, and they don't realize that the Baron is being taken away right underneath their noses. The idea from SK is good, but the response from KC secured them a Baron.
Yeah, once the Baron gets for KC to push out, blast out our turret going down, but it's not the end of the world for SK.
I mean, I respect KC doing what they can, pushing out these
So is your
waves,
show kind of like
chipping
New
away at these
Rockstars
towers,
channel?
those
No.
double cannons.
I would say Elephant Culture shows. New Rockstars is like, here's a bunch of Easter eggs. Ours are more like film criticism slash reviews.
They're making way through bot. Ideally, they want to use this pressure to get some control over the SK bot side jungle, but they can't quite do that.
It does also delay the game for Carmine Corp, allowing this Ezreal to get to 3.
New Rockstars is just bait for Ultra fans. Yeah, more like Red Letter Media.
Forward with the Bramble smash. Twisted advance has to flash. Escapes the clutches of SK, but Closer overstepping that.
Certainly was. He threw the ultimate, ideally to zone SK away from the tower. The idea there being in case he has a wave, they escort it in and then they can secure the tower with their range. However, SK just stood there.
Like, I don't care about
disengage, realizing that
Easter eggs within these shows. I just care if they're good or not.
To then push out this midway.
Did I watch Long Legs yet? No, I'm in Korea. It would be hard for me to see it here. Maybe it's at a theater here. I can look.
3 items being completed on both sides. Decent amount of poke damage across the board. And while SK's team fighting is clearly stronger, the range from KC is something that SK will need to find a way to lock down if they want to be able to close out this game.
I think a huge amount of that again comes into getting this early vision control set up and trying to use that for TP flanks for Relevant to try to get these flank opportunities. Hasn't really been able to do that on the way back out here. With 2 minutes until Dragon, I think again it's used.
I don't even think that
mid lane and then lean that into
it's available, honestly.
Of KC, because we've seen it so many times from teams like G2. If you can
I'll probably have to wait for this one.
Ward, it sets up perfectly for Irrelevant, and the pincer maneuver is just so difficult for KC to deal with because they want to try and have you all coming from one direction, but if you can disrupt that, it's a disaster.
2 minutes on the Baron, minute 50 on the Drake would only be the third of the game for either of these teams. Still stacking Infernals, not something to be sniffed at. Always a welcome addition to your arsenal.
Nah, I don't think I would be able to see Long Legs until it comes out on streaming services, unfortunately. Like, maybe there will be a specialized theater that would show that in Seoul, but I'm in Incheon, so... I mean, I get the major releases here, like Deadpool and Wolverine is out, but I don't get a lot of the minor ones. Do I get 824? I would imagine how big that... It depends on how big the film is. I didn't see whether Civil War was distributed, but that's an Alex Garland movie, so it might have been big enough.
The mix as well is just an extra little bit of a bonus. Not going to try and overcommit to more, though.
He's worried about TP playing.
Exactly, yeah. So
he's going to respect it. Yeah, I also thought that he could go for that tower, but instead he will play it safe. Niski doing the same on the other side of the map. Ultimately, though, that's a consequence of SK just setting up nice vision control around the top side of the map. They're playing around their lanes well. They're using the control that they have to find picks. And they're able to find one onto Closer. Fortunately for KC, there's no objective on the map ready for them to secure. But the Dragon spawning in 35, Baron in about 55, means that both teams need to prioritize. What will be the next objective? Is it the Baron that's greater importance, or do they want to put themselves at Soul Point?
Well, that's what I thought SK would lean into that bottom side to try and put pressure on towards the Dragon, but with the amount of vision they've already set up on this top side, it feels like they're going to end up playing towards this Baron.
God, this game is like super boring, actually.
But KC, first off the mark to get back.
It's just like Drake stacking galore.
The threat to try and contest.
They are overstacking mid though. They need someone to go and catch that bot wave ID. The TP invested now from Niski to join the bot jungle.
Yeah, they actually do need to go catch bot wave because it's not slow pushing, it's pushing towards them, so they need to deal with that real quick. Or they're just going to set up and try and force poke on the Drake. Engage is pretty scary here from SK. Irrelevant on a very long flank is going to get seen, but now they know, okay, they're going to engage off of the Maokai ult. Thing is, Irrelevant's here now. Jesus Christ. Nice play by Vladdy. Nice play by Vladdy. That's actually a pretty clutch play by Vladdy, honestly.
The Drake secured by Closer, but how much might Carmine Corp lose? The slicing Maelstrom Vladdy slides him away.
He actually manages to draw Irrelevant's ult out as well, so Kana feels comfortable just going melee range in order to deal with, clean it up. Yeah, the Drake take is really huge there too, because Infernal Soul is crazy on poke comps.
He cleanses away. The Krugs get in his way.
Gon and Vladdy played that well.
But he's just keeping him busy, allowing them to push in the mid lane. KC with a massive teamfight win, completely swinging the momentum.
Is that the game?
A lot of the burst is gone. I mean, those death times are relatively
I just
long,
don't
but
understand
three of the
why
carries
they
still alive.
fucking
KC gonna look to try.
Isma needs to clear the wave, but it's so difficult.
stuck with that mid laner, Carmine Corp. What was his name? The terrible Azir player for 2 splits when Vladdy is like a bazillion times better. Sakin, yeah, that's right. He was terrible. He was so bad at Azir. It was nuts to watch. I mean, it is a good. This is very decisive by Carmine Corp. You know what I mean? Like the MF ult doesn't get a lot of value, and Closer's able to escape with. Well, he doesn't escape, but he draws a lot of attention with phase rush. And Closer and Targamas, after they use their abilities, although Targamas didn't use his ult, are just not very relevant, and they don't actually do any damage onto the back line, so the cleanup's really easy here. Yes, Sakin was terrible. He can Sakin these nuts. 0 damage Azir player. He like didn't understand that Sand Soldier should be placed in choke points.
Isma able to escape to fight another day.
But he's just keeping him busy, allowing them to push in the mid lane. KC with a massive teamfight win, completely swinging the momentum.
Is that the game?
A lot of the burst is gone. I mean, those death times are relatively long with 3 of the
The damage is all up too.
Look to try.
Isma needs to clear the wave, but it's so difficult with bodies in the way. Can he get onto it? He's trying desperately to get to them.
Niski up in 13. Isma distracts for a moment, but it might not be enough time. Carmine Corp begin to rip through the Nexus towers, and a flick of a switch for KC as they go 1-0 up in the city.
Like battling back from the deficit is pretty impressive there for KC, I think.
Pretty much, actually, there's not even
Given what we've seen from these guys previously, which was
Between the picks and the bans, we
a
basically
whole
got
lot of
the
nothing. All right, guys, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. We'll be back. All right. Get into this.
For mid lane, I would feel like. So I don't really
All
think
right,
they
here we
should
go.
keep focusing on Ezreal over here because they did neutralize it. The MF was
these target bans. Like, you can argue, obviously, that Zeri and Kai'Sa are just good meta bans, but when you're playing against Upset, it feels a little bit more personal. I think the same is true with the Azir, and we'll have to see.
All right.
This, do you feel like still a super
And
meaningful
Rumble,
duo?
Nar.
This
Oh,
was a
wait.
threat
Europe
over the
plays
MSI
Nar?
patches.
I guess
It was
Irrelevant
super high
does.
prio. Both these champions have, I don't wanna
Taking
say
away the
dropped off a
Ezreal
cliff, but
first
certainly
pick this
dropped in
game. All right,
priority.
Vladdy, like I said, has been good on Talia.
I don't think they're game and it's still.
So we're just going to take Sejuani Renekton, the classic.
If you're not locking in an AD here, you know you're getting banned going into the second ban rotation too, and therefore you just
And
now
Jinx,
it's more about
the
what do we
ice
pair up
special.
with the Jinx on board.
Now for upset.
Is this draft can still go
So I take Gragas because it might be a counter
get
to
that tank on the top
Jinx.
side and play more of an
And we blind, or we're taking Ornn into the Renekton. Hui in the mid lane.
In for Niski. No, priority on the AP junglers. Very different look in this draft.
Yeah.
What's the read?
Yeah, I don't know what it is really now because I think it can be risky sending this way into the mid lane, and now you have.
The Hui feels really weird. What? The Hui feels really weird into Talia Vi. That just sounds like Hui dies a million times.
You're gonna get countered
That
because
sounds
Bot
very
kinda want the
dangerous.
winning bot lane down here when you're playing against a scaling pick like the Jinx. You can't really blind Braum as well because there's Renata, there is Melio as well that they can just go on the opposite side. That makes it very difficult if you wanted to get a Braum shield against an own ultimate as well. So
That just seems super risky. Like, SK really wants to play in the top side with Sejuani Renekton.
They can go Enchanter,
And they grab the Rel here to try and engage onto the Jinx. And I know you have like this lower mobility, at least at the start of fights before she gets excited AD, so the Hui feels good. But it's going to be really hard, I think, to survive laning phase in mid lane.
So whoever really gets that priority between the Rel and the Rakan is going to have an easier time at making that a mid lane priority instead.
One of the final questions here, as we have a few moments before we toss things over to the caster and get in the game. What do you talk about?
Also, Vi, Jinx, synergy, good to like start the get excited train.
Season their only loss was to Fnatic, and SK expectations high after their first round of the playoffs, really demolishing Heretics, losing to Fnatic, and to lose to KC, I'm sure would be disappointing. And they are, of course, they are, of course, already locked in season finals due to
SK, yep.
Yeah, SK are already locked in season finals. This is true.
Only one more team left to go into our season finals, joining Fnatic, G2, BDS, MDK, and SK. And that's between Carmine Corp and Giant X. And if Carmine Corp make top 3, they're our last team in season finals. And if they don't, Giant X are our last team in season finals. But for now, we have the second game of this best of 3 to get through.
It is interesting to see KC bringing out the Jinx once again, because it's kind of been them and BDS that have gone towards this, but last time we saw Upset bring it out, it was in that massive turnaround fight that he had against MDK, where he just about managed to clutch it out and claw that game back for Carmine Corp. Let's see if he can be that late game insurance, because that, once again, is kind of where Carmine Corp seemed to...
Was it the beginning of this split, or was it even last split?
Yeah, I don't think interesting happened yet. They win the fight early on. Kind of is just going to be
already carries.
Farming under turret.
But exciting to see what can happen. It does mean that there's a lot more like burst damage in team fights, and there's a lot of range on the side of SK, a lot of poke. Looking at this Hui and Ezreal
Early invade.
duo. Meanwhile, on our screens right now, we have SK invading on the bot side of the map. Closer.
Not much you can do about this.
Stand and watch as his blue buff is taken away.
Yeah, Luon using the pressure they'd already defended this tower.
Good early game here from SK. Good early game calling based on the pressure. They have pressure in all lanes.
Nice job, though, to just keep close.
They're holding the Vi down pretty effectively. Vi is now a very dangerous, unemployed jungler.
Maybe setting up for playing
Double Crab should be coming through for Yzma. Bot lane should be playing a little bit more conservatively. He is on cooldown for Rahel. Vi is very unemployed right now. Vi is very unemployed. The only thing she can do is recall and walk to the top crab. But it looks like Renekton is just trying to check and see if she's going to be heading that direction. They also ward there. As you notice, they put the ward in here to see if there is a timing when the Vi is going to come back potentially.
Still just shadowing to make sure this wave gets
But Closer just very unemployed, covering the push out.
Isma might just wait for the back. Timer's going in, immediately engaged onto Upset.
Okay, Upset still has Ignite burning on him though because he cleansed the stun.
Keeps Isma at bay, but there's the permafrost stun.
One. Ooh, they couldn't get the E stun off. It's okay, Darganos is dead. They still get it. Well, I guess the bot lane lived somehow. Now Closer is unemployed and dead.
He might have to invest it to save his bot lane, but Niski with the grasping more finds one. Targamas almost follows, but able to heal himself back up with a Gleaming Quill. TP invested by Vladdy.
A little bit silly there that they make that play while Rahel is already backing. Like, if Rahel stays here, that's one thing, but there's also a TP up. So really silly to kind of pursue that, I think.
Can catch that wave.
He's too late, though. I mean, the play's already happened. Niski got the kill. Rahel gets
Was Closer looked at for LEC at all before LCS got him? I assume he was looked at, but I don't know for sure.
This is what we're talking about. If Isma can try and disrupt where Closer is, he can set up for plays. But now Vladdy, bit overextended, but Niski's got no mana.
Yeah.
Nice synergy there, Jonathan. We look back at the play, and they see the jungler on the ward, but they commit to the play anyway. They get the summoner spells out from Upset very early, and you can see Isma trying to find an angle, but there's two members of KC standing in his way. But then
he can't quite proc.
Can't quite land that last hit. The Q comes through, the flash committed from Rahel. He secures that kill. Unfortunately for SK,
yeah, Rahel takes the extra turret shot too, so it's really hard for him to continue this.
Down. He's able to get that kill onto Upset. Very little that he can do in those summoner spells. Unfortunately for Isma, he's already tanking the tower before he even lands an auto attack. Which means Targamas with a nice flash is able to get that outplay. And now
yeah, no minions there, so very questionable follow-up on that dive for sure. You keep blaming Vi for being unemployed, but there is an active desire from the city to keep Vi's neighborhood away from any thriving economic opportunity. Look, we've already given Vi universal basic income, okay? Vi is getting gold into her bank account, even if she's unemployed, constantly at a constant rate. UBI is alive in Summoner's Rift, okay? We've also given Vi a rubber band mechanic where if she's been unemployed for a long time, her next gold gaining opportunity will give her extra gold. Okay? The social welfare state is alive for Vi, even though she's unemployed. Okay?
But yeah, do you find on your Rakan you ever run out of mana?
I never get double buffs, mate. Let's be honest, I'm dying in that
Wasn't
position.
my question, but that's fair enough. Dragon to be secured there for SK. Grubs are up. Honestly surprised to not see that being the bigger objective. But circumstance allows SK to secure this objective. Golf claps across the arena. As SK find themselves in a similar position to game 1, where it's SK that lead in the bot lane 2 versus 2. And Upset, with his clans coming up soon, is just forced to play defensively, especially with this Rakan at his side.
Yeah, I think it's still difficult for KC to contest for these Void groups, because we just say, hey, look, Isma gets Dragon, but you've already got push on top lane guaranteed for Relevant, and Hui out-pushes Vladdy as well, so you always have the support for Isma here from your solo laners, which makes it very tough for Closer getting in here. Might try and just steal away one and then hop out, but doesn't have the flash, so just be careful.
Someone's dashing away with the battle dance there to make sure that he didn't get caught by the shattering strike. Rahel already level 6 though, so always has the added threat of the true shot barrage or just the wave clear of it. Can join a fight on the top side with it. if something does begin. But SK getting both the neutral objectives to start us off. Upset Splash about to come back off cooldown, so he'll have a little bit more safety in that bottom lane. He's sitting about 6,500 gold. That's not really how you say that, is that? 605.
If you think about it, though, it's outrageous that Vi receives the universal basic income, and instead of buying things like food or potions, consumables, she buys like jewels and swords. She really is just abusing the system. Like, look at what she bought. She's unemployed, and look at what she bought. She bought a ruby and 2 swords. Are these necessary purchases? I think not.
Speaking for about 2.5 hours.
Good thing we can audit her inventory.
Okay, you're allowed to fumble words every now and then.
We used both of our collective brain cell on that one synergistic moment, and then it went out the window.
It's only been 2.5 hours?
Well, I mean, you think
we
about...
started at 5, man. It's 4 hours.
So you had like a 42-minute game, and then you had a 40-minute...
She's unemployed and got a pet that she's going to support on what? Yeah, she bought a pet too. Vi is incredibly irresponsible.
Anyway, game 5 of the day.
Outrageous.
15 of the weekend for Rob?
15.
Yes.
What
It's been a chill weekend.
Irrelevant finds himself with about a 2-wave lead.
She could have, but I'm just going to put this out there. She could have gotten a refillable potion for infinite sustenance. Literally infinite. And she didn't.
Side, kind of as
she bought a pet
matchup, and just as a player, this is
and a ruby.
He often does. He did struggle in the matchup a little bit in game 1, but to his credit, he was still doing very well in the farm department. We'll say though, Kana's Shock Blast ended up being massive in the late game team fights. Now we see supports making their way towards mid, as is often the case, looking mainly to clear out vision, providing support for their mid laners as they continue to trade farm back and forth.
I think it's unfair for the supports to play in mid lane, though, because there's no longer AD carries, so support shouldn't be there. So I think it just shouldn't happen anymore. But it does make sense, especially when you've already got closer in a decent position, to try and set up for a nice little push through onto this bottom side, contest the red.
Kana calls the Forge God.
Got no mana.
Otherwise, Irrelevant could have stunned him immediately. Still, they look for the dive.
Nice job by Yzba. That was a really good dive.
Well, and SK get the kill and get out.
Very clean setup, and there's not really much complication needed. They don't need to wait for his...
I actually, if I was Kana, I wouldn't even flash, dude. What was the point of flashing?
Kana calls the Forge God. Flashes away because otherwise Irrelevant could have stunned him immediately.
Yeah, basically he flashes so that he gets out of Redect and W range, so he gets R2. But with the wave there's no way they actually take aggro, and so it's free. Like the flash is actually just useless. But you don't even force flash out of Irrelevant or Isma. It's a bad flash.
Wave underneath the tower, they make the dive look good. They even get Kana's flash. Meanwhile, SK's bot lane is forced to play defensively, closer in the right place. But no dive really possibility onto this Ezreal route.
Yeah, I mean, it is really strong for SK to get the play, but I still think in the grand scheme of things, if KC are able to get some more gold onto Upset, it probably helps them out in the long run. Realistically, I think Upset going to be the big carry that you need to deal with. And Irrelevant, I think, as the game goes on, will struggle to get into these fights. So we're probably looking at more trying to leverage the fact he has that early Black Cleaver into Void Grubs in a minute and a half and try and snowball the game as effective as you can in the mid game through all these early objective takes for SK.
Kind of comes back to what we talked about in game 1. You're increasing the effective misery for Kana in the top lane, and the net misery of the game stays even because Upset's misery has been reduced. As the quickness comes out from Targamas, they look for Rahel. Can't quite get the damage down onto him. Didn't mean that he has to pop the barrier. Targamas used heal to keep himself topped up. Isma working his way down towards this bottom side, but Upset has both his summoners back up, so has that relative blanket of safety in case he is dived.
Neski was hovering on the bot side river, looking to maybe regroup with his jungler to set up for a play. Vision from
Really surprised we haven't seen any kind of play on the mid lane yet. This way should be very vulnerable to Talia Vi.
Renekton now very deep into the enemy jungle. He can find closer here. I think he will. Here comes Isma as well, but Wall Breaker will take closer to safety. Too crazy happening as neutral objectives are respawning. They're going to be up at about the same time. I would imagine SK will turn their attention to the top side of the map as
but has enough of a health bar just to walk that one away.
Push in mid will set SK up for control over the river. They're actually committing to the bot.
think the fact that they're able to get some vision down as well, just to spot exactly where everyone is going to be very nice. And maybe even in a position, honestly, to contest Void Grubs after this as well, just with how quickly they've taken it. You can even see Irrelevant just poking his head in towards Void Grubs to spot out the closers on it now.
I'm actually really surprised. SK has had some two pretty good early games.
Is on his way back up.
Irrelevant forces closer away, even if we only saw the end of with Luon trying to walk away, so no summoner for the KC mid lane. Looks like it's going to be double Drake, 6 Grubs, something we see relatively rarely in modern League of Legends.
Not
and
ideal.
We didn't see it in old League of Legends either, because Grubs didn't exist.
Correct.
I mean, they should be getting 6 Grubs, though, with the dominance they have in the top side. It would be a pretty big problem if they didn't. Because there hasn't been, you know, to counteract the dominance in the top side, there hasn't been any other efforts made around mid lane to try and shut down this way.
Lady carry. And there's a lot of appeal. Also, there's a lot of engage on the side of KC that could perhaps be used to mitigate the strength that SK has right now. It's a 2k gold overall, with a lot of that sitting on top of Irrelevant, and he's going to be the scary target for Upset that he has to deal with.
I think it's also just a lot of long-range damage from SK is really difficult for Upset, because it's, you know, the Severing Bolt from Niski, the ult from Rahel over the...
Nice split by Niski and Isma. Trying to clear the wave. What?
Doesn't get all of the minions. His tower falls, spiraling despair down on him, but he's still tanky enough to survive. Vladdy going in, Niski on the wrong side of the wall, but perhaps it's
nice flash on the W by Niski. Irrelevant TP'd. Okay, Irrelevant steals everybody.
Vladdy's already gonna go down. Upset takes a kill though. Irrelevant's able to get one in response as Kana falls.
I mean, Casey's gonna get cleaned here. Everybody just ran topside.
Excited enough to dodge away from this. Luon goes in with a Magnet Storm, and Upset is left to the wolves. SK find 3.
And they're gonna get
The SK easy back and forth with
couple of seconds. So we see the initial play, then with those...
We get Herald off of this, right? Yep.
Made it extra difficult.
As stacked up as Vladdy's, but already has the baited out. The river mostly in control of SK, as Rahel is just going to push Upset back in the mid lane. Missed that. Missed
one, but KC trying to intercept that. You're in a fairly decent spot for KC to just defend this choke. Even investing the TP from Kana, they really want to try and go for this.
Caught. Okay, no
Alright, it takes hardly any damage though, Targamas.
I thought with the gaze of the Abyss, that Targamas would be engaged on there. Riptor goes down in the mid lane. Won't kill the tower with a single charge, but SK can back it up. Irrelevant's going to be the one charging in.
Gaze of the Abyss.
So, takes a chunk. Vladdy jumping away. Glacial Prison hits onto Upset, who uses the cleanse. No summoners now on the Carmine Corp AD carry. Mid lane tower falls. Severing Bolt from Niski is dodged, but it's in a very powerful position. And SK will once again reclaim control of the river.
It's SK that are the driving force here in Game 2. We saw a very similar state of affairs in Game 1, but the objective control is significantly more dominant this time around for SK. You can tell that they've got frustrated with how that previous game ended, and they seem a lot more disciplined in allowing KC any opportunities to fight back.
What do you do if you're KC in this sort of position? It's easy to say, you know, scale. Get the Jinx to 2-3 items, perhaps you can become powerful enough to take down SK, but they're not giving
mid lane diff is crazy right now. And the thing is that the Talia just doesn't have any damage early in the... I mean, she went Merc Tread Seraph's Embrace. This is a 0 damage Talia. They are really all in on the Vi, like hyper carrying this.
Especially now that that dragon has gone down, there's going to be Baron.
And they lost all lanes, so pretty sure that's not going to happen.
So maybe Vladdy can get some push on top side and you can try and cut people off, but again, in this top side, already Luon and Isma.
It's a pretty bad situation, I think, for KC.
Forcing KC out is the first point that you need to make happen.
I think KC's game plan was to leverage their strong mid-jungle duo to find picks and gain control of a mid.
I agree.
Sides, but even if you did that, what side do you attack?
Yeah.
I think that
they just haven't gotten any plays off. Like Vladdy hasn't been in a side lane with Vi to make a play in a side lane, and they're just like losing all the lanes, and now they just have to hope for scaling. I mean, at least Kana's 13. They've got that going for them.
I think there was a bit of a disconnect in terms of what their mid-jungle wants to do, and then the actual side lanes that you then try to the ultimate to then.
Well, they didn't get any. They didn't get any kills in mid lane on Hui. They didn't get any roams with Talia ult.
Right now they just don't have the options because they can't really kill the Renekton. Niski is only ever going to the side of the map where there's a tower, and fun fact, there are towers everywhere. But he clears out that top wave, and then he moves into Fog of War. He clears out the vision with his team, and he never oversteps his bounds. He's mainly playing with his team rather than... He's like, collect the wave, regroup with his team, and if he does need to push further, look on your screen right now, this is a perfect example. He needs to push another wave out so his team comes to him. So he's always playing as like this collective four, and the person that's being left isolated is the Renekton, while Ezreal kind of solo holds mid lane because that's Ezreal. So it's very difficult for KC to actually find opportunities. Right now they're kind of relying on, we need to get as many items as we can, let's get these upgrades, and then we can look to try and find a pick or a play around Baron or the next dragon.
I think if you're KC, actually, the only real like windows of opportunity that Betty I think he's talking about is like the trying to catch SK as they come out of on a reset. So if you can try and hold on to your outer towers here as targets them, but there is moments where you can shove out waves, you forego a reset, and you play off of the...
They're doing a really good job playing around pressure and vision clearing in the jungle right now to allow Ezreal just to gently apply pressure to the tier 2 mid.
Funky, which is kind of drops a side wave and immediately tries to turn on.
SK is playing really well, I think, right now.
The closer has this point and click CC and try and play for that, but with how much vision is set up on this top side, it becomes really difficult to do so. So I think this moment where maybe you can drift Khan across is your one moment to try and go for something here.
But unfortunately, the Scry's Bloom comes out, spots the ward, they clear it out. And now Niski's safe. But this is what he'll keep doing when he's alone. He'll just catch the wave when it's here. He'll get rid of it, and then he'll back off. Now the Baron's being started. SK's the one to force it. Let's see how KC respond.
See if they really know
they can turn. Look, they have pressure in bot side already. He's trying to draw a TP out, probably.
Now Luon will clear that out. Carmine Corp going to step forward. Rahel once again walks away from it, as do the rest of SK.
Nope.
You don't get anything for it, though. So SK going to go back to trying to start
Warmogs, right? So Ismo just heals back up, clear out the control ward, and you can start...
All right, you can... The thing is, you can make the... Here's what happens. You can make the Baron attempt now, because you've got 50 seconds until Drake. You can see if you can bait out TP. If it fails and you feel uncomfortable, you can just head out over to Drake, and you already have bot lane pushed. Now, if you're lucky, maybe you can cancel that TP with Irrelevant. How could KC come back in this game? I mean, they do have a good pick composition. Like, obviously, with Vi, Talia, you could try and create a pick, but I think you just don't have damage. Like, the Merc Tread Seraphine Crypt Bloom build doesn't do damage on Talia. So you need Jinx to be there, or you have to scale into, like, the ultra late game. But you have very good engage. You have the Talia wall is extremely useful for bisecting the enemy team. You have Ornn. Like, the scaling is definitely there for Carmine Corp. But it's Soul now. So, I mean, they lost control of this entire map early. It's very hard to play in the current meta if you just, like, get all your lanes pushed in.
And Ezreal, of course, Ezreal pushing out the mid wave. KC have found an avenue into the river, though, as they pass bot and they start off the Drake.
And Closer looking for that flank. Rahel is still on the mid wave. True Shot Barrage comes out.
Upset is actually chunked to 50% by True Shot.
Call of the Fortune coming down as well as Kana looks for the CC. Niski flashes away, but Rahel joins the press. Still on the mid wave. True Shot
Thing is, the carries are super low now, and Vladdy actually he flashes forward. This is psychotic by Vladdy. He doesn't have damage. They're so desperate. Look at Vladdy here. So because they are trying to kill, but I mean, like, you can't kill the Talia. He's got Seraph's Embrace. So they flash. Vladdy actually, I mean, they throw this basically. The call is like everybody go onto Niski. Or sorry, he doesn't have Seraph's. What I'm talking about. Everybody goes onto Niski, but they don't actually combo it because the W comes in late after the Vi ult is done. And the flash in by Vladdy is counteracted with Glacial Prison. And so they just used Vi ult and Vladdy's flash for no reason, and True Shot got upset down to 50% HP.
Closer's already down, and although Carmine Corp found a flank, they immediately lose their jungler.
That was a nice attempt from Closer, but
the combo is really off between Closer and Vladdy, and now they lose Baron.
How difficult these fights are going to become. This fight, he did to try and get the... He was so squishy. Now, as we look back at it, you'll see how quickly this front line of KC disappeared.
They're like, we must destroy Niski. We haven't had a chance to kill him all game. We picked Vi and Talia to kill Niski, to kill Hui. But look at this. He has the time to flash. Yikes. And Kana's ult isn't there yet. It's just like nothing goes right.
And then the Ornos doesn't come over the top. And from that position, then SK are able to just re-establish themselves in that front to back.
So they used all their CC on Niski for no reason. Got no damage down. And Vladdy killed himself.
He tried to immediately follow up on that, but he was shut down instantly. So great play.
Vladdy flashed in and just got immediately R'd by Sejuani.
SK. Target was looking for a bit of a flank. I don't think there's much for him to flank, so he's going to try and regroup with his team. SK now need to begin their siege onto the base. They've set their sights on the top tier 2. KC in a position to defend.
Someone is available for upset, none for closer. Or at least no flash, nor for Vladdy. Niski, no flash.
So it's probably over now. Like, basically just lose too many lanes into SK playing very well around pressure and vision.
Pushed out bot now.
And, like, how do you kill him now? You know what I mean? Like, Renekton actually can do things when he has Cloud Soul.
Gets the tier 2.
He's a lot less kiteable when he's, like, super zooming during his ult.
Tier 2 in the top lane as well.
As you would expect, KC.
You know, it's very annoying to catch Ezreal or Wei now.
Back towards bot. And they're just looking for...
This should be pretty easy from SK, or for SK to finish off, yeah. There's just no win con. Not at 26 minutes. Good, pretty clean game from SK, though. That was much more enjoyable than the first game.
As with all long series, they move for themselves, which brand.
He's so incredibly strong.
All right, Nidalee, Gnar, and they're banning the Rel.
Just slow to adapt, but it does mean you have to take on a very different identity.
Carmine Corp just traumatized by what the Rel did to them in lane.
Because I think with the
So SK gonna take the Renekton this time around as well as the Maokai. So we have Jace. Oh god, Jace, great matchup. Kana is an amazing Jace player, by the way. Like, Kana is known for his Renekton and Jace play, primarily, from his career in Korea. And now they're going to take Zeri for upset. This just feels super good in terms of comfort champs for them. Okay, Rakan and Braum Bam, what are we trying to pick here? Are we trying to pick Leona? Yes, we're trying to pick Leona.
Making her way to the fort.
I think she's just so good. She's just such a strong champion right
No
now.
Nautilus for Targasa. What is he going to play? Alistair, probably?
Seeing things like the Nautilus and the Leona paired. I think the Alistair...
Yeah, Alistair. I mean, Alistair... The thing is that Vi is up right here. And Nautilus was up until the second round of the draft. And, like, there was no attempt to, like, take Vi or Nautilus. So who is supposed to kill Zeri here? They're just going to hope Kai'Sa can dash onto her and get the kill?
Or is he just going to fall back towards the more traditional AP mages to try and keep himself safe?
Zeri mid. No, it's probably Lucian mid. That's been the European jam these days.
So if you pulverize while she's in midair, you can stop her from getting on towards your back.
Ezreal's still up. So we take Ezreal mid. Lucian does outtrade the Ezreal mid, though. But in terms of total range, you know, the range advantage probably over to SK here, but very strong engage from Carmine Corp. And, like, how do you kill upset Zeri? That's the big problem here. I guess you have W. So Maokai is good because you can W the Zeri. But this is another one of those games where it's like, how does Renekton flank? How does Renekton flank and get anything done? He gets CC'd by Sejuani, pushed out by Alistair. You have 3 very mobile AD carries, ranged carries. And Renekton is just garbage into a lot of ranged mobility.
Yeah, there was Varus top a bunch yesterday as well. So.
I do actually
And he loses lane. So, and we know Kana plays Jace. So why are we, like, early picking this Renekton blind?
That was the Xiaohu meta.
The Xiaohu, that was SK. KC along the line for them. Obviously, this has already been a better split than their whole year. The changes that they made are definitely proving to be effective. And I'm sure that they don't want their run to end here. They want to chance at upsets that they would need to make.
Let's be real, pretty disappointing.
So perhaps, though, SK can actually just abuse the Alistair early and get some pressure in the bot side.
Of Rahel and Luon, LEC, but over the first few weeks of the split, they really made a name for themselves. And although they've fallen off a little bit so far in playoffs, started to see some glimpses of their former selves in the second game.
KC don't trust Closer to play AP carry. He's just never been that guy, you know. He's always been an early game facilitator.
That bot lane performance has been very solid.
I mean, Rahel's Kai'Sa has been very solid as well. You think back to that one game where he just did not miss a Void Missile. Managed to completely solo carry the game.
So actually, funnily enough, they had a composition very similar to this where I was like, oh yeah, they really want to play like a lot of dive. And like, they never really team fought. It was just Rahel landing poke after poke after poke.
Jumping in on someone, killing them.
And then I was like, oh, and you know, there's a world where this could be the exact same draft. Ezreal and Kai'Sa just poke you down, you don't get to play, and it's a very sad affair.
I think the one good thing for KC is that not quite Void Missile range or the Arcane Barrage range, True Shot Barrage range, sorry to say, you have a lot of poke yourself. The Jace, the Culling, even the Zap we're kind of alluding to, you've got a lot that you can work with. So when it comes to those kind of stalemates of trying to set up for objectives, it's not like you just have a very clear winners. And if KC are able to set up for a big target misengage or closer finding a pick with that ultimate, it suddenly can be very difficult for SK to operate in that poke style.
We can see Kana getting the push in the top lane, the one winning lane or pushing lane for Carmine Corp so far. Mid seems to be in favor of Niski, and Rahel and Luan already managed to shove out that wave bot. Rahel getting his back off, has got a cull for himself. Whereas we have yet to see Upset actually get a recall off, meaning he can just farm underneath that tower for a couple of moments, but as the wave shoves out, Luan can catch it, and Rahel will have no problem being back here in time to get the next wave for him.
To do the same thing, but he's now back in lane. Junglers both going at bot lane level 2 kill between...
Okay, recalls for us junglers. Starting on second clear.
But we'll see how things definitely...
Both at Krugs and Raptors. Super exciting early game, guys.
Relatively good. Kana's doing good in this top side. Even saw Closer off his initial clear, moving up here to ensure Kana could get the wave crash, and then he gets that opportunity to try and bully out Irrelevant. Even with this wave, actually, could just look for a very quick reset himself and keep that TP advantage as Irrelevant.
Yeah, Kana can actually just cheat a recall here.
In response, Isma going to try and start up Dragon.
The recall mind games are starting the top side. Irrelevant doesn't actually recall.
Yeah, but we saw this in game 2 as well. Like the really early first Drake before the Void Grubs even spawn. Then you go up towards the Void Grubs and try and get the push up there. Obviously, Irrelevant not able to push out Kana early doors here, so it's going to be a little bit trickier for them.
It's pretty bold because your mid laner is recalling right now. SK's mid laner is recalling, and he's actually just TPing into bot side.
Maybe forcing Targamas Closer and Upset a little bit further back. You can see Vladdy TP towards mid. The engage goes down. Targa with a double knockup, but he's the first to fall.
Good play by SK. They win the mind game wars on the mid lane recall. Vladdy's a rookie, you know what I mean? And this is a much more Niski style play. So they actually see he recalls first, and they see his TP coming in. And then they're already TPing into bot side, and Vladdy's TPing mid. So KC has to back off here, but they misplay this. There's a possibility that Kana could have TP'd into bot side too, into bot tier 1. But Vladdy can walk around though, so they don't actually get Drake. They do get first blood though.
I was worried for SK because Vladdy actually TP'd back to lane first, but he was forced to catch a wave in mid. You can see that wave slow pushing towards Niski.
That's a good little timing window there by SK to exploit though.
But Niski cleverly decides to TP to the bot tower to mean that he can actually group up with this team faster. So when they go for the engage, Casey wasn't expecting the numbers disadvantage to arrive that quickly. And SK find themselves with first blood. The Dragon doesn't end up going down, and Closer turns his attention towards the Grubs, knowing that Iz was not in a position to contest.
Irrelevant popped his ultimate to guarantee the push on that wave in top side so it could crash and get the bounce back, but it does mean no ult. Oh, maybe steal?
Oh, he gets one!
Nice from Niski. Closer leaving that a little bit too low, but I mean, that's going to be, like, you're very happy with that as SK. Getting one out of this situation is huge.
That means that you can get towards those 4. Upset took the time in the bot lane to push in, although he has been able to pick up a single plate. He's still behind.
Yeah, sorry, I just noticed that the wave there was quite awkward for Irrelevant, which is why I thought Luan was basically there to help him push that wave in. Fortunately, Kana hit a few of the minions, which means that it's now going to slow push towards Irrelevant. He's got to be careful about a potential dive. You can see that CS discrepancy.
I mean, that's crashing.
Going down, and Closer turns his attention towards...
Oh, maybe steal? Oh, he gets one. Nice from Niski.
It's actually a huge steal. It's very annoying that happens, especially without the jungler there. Because now jungler, basically now they can just trade 2 for 1 on the next Grubs, and they get potentially
basically there to help him
the Drake
push that
here as
wave
well. So that's super handy. They don't have to have the jungler there to actually smite away one of the grubs. They can immediately go for the Drake. That increases your tempo on the map pretty substantially.
Ultimately, Irrelevant is going
Oh, have I missed you? Van the Great, what are you talking about?
The rest of the map kind of going ever so
I'm
slightly
here like
against Spain,
all
but
the
credit
time.
to
You don't have
Upset
to miss
finding
me.
that
I make like a
place
gazillion podcasts that I'm on my stream like most days of the week.
Well, now it's no longer. I was going to say a very minor gold lead, but yeah, it's pretty much even between the two AD carries.
Closer a level down here as Isma walks across towards his red.
Of the 3 KC changes, which do you think was the most impactful?
As well, 'cause you can just look at the minimap,
I
right?
mean,
The
it's
icons
obviously mid
disappeared,
lane, right?
The red's already been taken. I think he just assumed that Closer would be able to take it
Well, he had
before
no
him
smite.
anyway because he had no smite. Yep, I was getting there, Betty. It was a roundabout way, but I got there in the end.
No presence in mid lane either. Vladdy had already got that push, cannon top, so it would have been a very difficult take.
X-Flash,
might
Zenith
catch
play.
Closer.
Closer still has the flash hit. Hits level 6. Glacial Prison leveled up, but not enough to buy him.
Push cannon top, so it would have been a very difficult take.
Closer just inting the game when support is free on the map.
Hits level 6. Glacial Prison leveled up, but not enough to buy him
All right,
some
then.
time to get away from Luon.
Because of how bad Seiken was, yes, he was really bad. And also just because like mid is the most impactful position on the map in general.
And I think he does. Flashes under the safety of the tower.
I don't think they even needed to replace Bo, frankly. I don't really see Closer as a massive upgrade or anything off of Bo.
That cooling just isn't there. So nice job by Irrelevant finding.
So I would say in order of impact, like Vladdy, Kana, then Closer.
It's really bad for Kana as well because he doesn't have TP. He's going to start running back towards the wave. Probably going to lose this cannon. Not going to lose too much more out of this wave.
Haven't been into League since your LCK days, but I wish you all the success. Well, there you go. You can just not watch. You can watch my not League content over on the Last Free Nation Culture channel, where we don't talk about League at all. We talk about TV and film. I've got a cooking stream coming up Thursday night. Tune in for that.
Kind of been where Relevant has been very strong, just finding these moments in the top lane 1v1s to put pressure on the enemy and get not quite an advantage for himself, but certainly close the gap between himself and Kana here.
I mean, we saw a similar thing yesterday between Oscar and BB where Oscar was able to find a kill onto BB in the exact same matchup, right? And it's clear that there's a window in this matchup where Renekton can punish the Jace, and Irrelevant was able to exploit that. Of course, the downside is that plate secured for Kana. So even though he does,
I will. Cheers. Cheers to you.
A very healthy lead, but the rest of the map going ever so slightly the way of SK.
I'm a bit disappointed that Banger's only leitmotif does not carry over to the cooking stream. I mean, it does, obviously, because why would I cook? I mean, if you're saying literally like bangers as in British sausages,
Maybe just walk up towards mid.
we could do a Banger's only cooking stream, but in terms of food and the non-literal, figurative use of the word banger as something good, why would I cook bad food?
Especially with Kana winning out that top side so hard.
British sausages was what I meant.
As well. Should be able to take that tower.
Then you moved over to Overwatch League, and I really wondered if you moved for paycheck or if you really liked Overwatch more than League of Legends. I mean, I liked Overwatch, but also, like, I'm an adult and wanted to get paid, and that wasn't going to happen. Van the Great, thank you for Twitch Prime sub.
But good play from Targamas to find that flank position.
I did like Overwatch. But I also like owning a house and having money, which was never going to happen with Riot. So, as you can see, because none of the casters own houses or have kids. So, pretty sure I made the right choice on that one.
Pops the Domina, still tanking the tower, even with the true shot barrage. Kana falls Irrelevant, able to slice his way out. It was a dicey situation for
Our favorite Overwatch player, Gesture, probably.
Vladdy here as well, though, so SK going to just be happy to try and get some pressure back, but nicely done by SK again, just using these little windows.
How could you like Overwatch and hate Valorant? I don't even know how to answer that question. Like, Overwatch is the best game that exists in its genre, and I like the genre. Valorant is the worst game that exists in its genre, and I like the genre. Like, Counter-Strike is just better Valorant.
Out of the play. SK invested a lot into killing Kana, and because they had blinking health bars, because they weren't quite set up properly, Carmine Corp actually...
Thank you, Susie. 99 months. Gesture is our other son. 99 months from my wife. Almost 100. One more.
They are shifting Rahel up now, but we get the replay here.
I mean, we look back at the dive, and Irrelevant draws aggro, largely thanks to... Oh, he connects the stun and the LT.
Shifting actually the one now, but we get the replay.
So check out this dive right here. They're trying to counteract the dive.
Draws aggro, largely thanks to... Oh, he
Maokai ult is incredibly good, though. Oof! Empowered Q, heal. Very nice.
Underneath the tower, but it's not quite enough damage to trade the kill back. Meanwhile, SK between Luan and Ismet, they're able to find that nice kill. So plate goes over as well to SK. It's funny how in this situation they couldn't actually secure the grubs, because typically the idea is, oh, we have a numbers advantage, but it's...
Love to see you as a family man. Recently I tried to look up to you. Oh, thanks, man. Congratulations.
SK needed to replenish their mana. They weren't quite healthy enough, and so SK, even a man down, knew that in the extended fight, they'd still be able to win. So objective secured for them. That's
well, even if you're not into League, I still make more content, guys, so... And I would say my content is going to be increasingly less League-related over time. So if you enjoy that, fantastic.
They were meaning to give it to him, with Isma getting that at the end, puts the thumbs up down. Luan now needs to soak this wave. Targamas won't hit 6 of these 6 minions.
But Sunday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. Not Sunday. Thursday. 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. That's what we're going to be doing the next cooking stream. So it'll be fun.
With 4 players being there, you get a little bit less shared XP.
Both top laners do have TP, but it looks like, okay, smartly from KC, they choose to abandon it. It's fine. They instead focus their attention towards the top tower. Plates are still available.
Carmine Corp digging themselves into a pretty big hole here early.
So I like the approach from KC. There's little that SK can do to punish. They'll send Vladdy down to go and catch the bot wave.
Ocean Drake going to be pretty good on Maokai, Leona, and Renekton as well. This Renekton just isn't ahead, though. Like, my real concern here is that blind pick Renekton is shit. Vladdy just TPing in for funsies.
Nice bit of revenge there for KC after losing Kana in the top lane dive. They're able
I was cringing up being Korea. Have you considered a mukbang stream? What do you mean? I do mukbang of my own food. Wait, I guess you're gonna have to should I order a bunch of Korean takeout and eat it?
Isma looks for the dive immediately. Kana goes in. Twisted advance going forward as well. Isma tanking for days, but not for long enough. One more shot would have killed him. Kana able to survive. Still has his flash as well.
So I think the idea here...
Twisted advance going forward as well. Isma
albeit slower than what we're seeing on the top side of the map. The TP
wow, Kana.
is risky.
That is kind of crazy that he goes for that. Oh, he mistimed the Niski mistimed the W. And he missed his ult. Oh boy. Kana was probably dead there if Niski hits either his ult or his W.
Kana able to survive. Still has his flash as well.
So I think the idea here was Kana can TP into bot, then quickly use those 5 void grubs. And
I will sacrifice for the both of us and eat the Korean takeout. I think what you really want is Susie's mukbang stream. I feel like she's the better person for that kind of content.
Irrelevant might still need to be careful. They'll just back away.
I thought Carmine Corp were going to collapse on that, I'll be honest. I saw the Irrelevant TP and was like, well, closes there. Obviously, they don't have the ultimates. They used them up in the last fight, but with Rift held up, perhaps that's more of a focus in terms
But yeah, I mean, that was a kill. You could have punished that really super greedy TP of Kana, and they just like didn't.
2 drakes to none, 5 grubs to 1, 3 kills to 1, but it's only 400, 500.
A true display of skill,
it's probably the closest
as Ezreal would say.
Between these two teams so far.
Very much kind of what you would expect at a game 3. Game 1, KC was able to find a huge fight against SK to secure that win. Game 2 was a one-sided SK dominance. This time round, though, constant trade back and forth of objectives. Both teams with strong tools. Nice trade there for an upset. Oh, but Rahel press the attack to get a bit of a
Any EU talent you see coming to North America? Not anymore. Like the salaries in North America have dried up, so it's a lot less attractive to European players these days, I think. I think the days of like the great European imports are pretty much over.
For SK, would love to try and use that in mid lane, especially when the Dragon comes up in 2.5 minute time to just try and put some pressure onto KC on the map. I wasn't sure how aggressive we wanted to go onto Kana there, but yeah, I think from the position that you're in, SK, at least if they can use this Rift Herald effectively, should be good, because they push in mid, now to collapse on Vladdy on bot lane.
Vladdy hits 11, flashes away. The Ruthless Predator stun was waiting from Irrelevant, but unable to get into range to do it before that summoner expended. by the Carmine Corp mid laner.
And Vladdy does have to be careful in these fights, because traditionally when we see the Lucian, like, he can take a cleanse, he can take a valuable...
I mean, Jojo Pian got the bag from C9. Monty is a Greek native. I'd be super interested in seeing you take on Greek food. Okay. Sure, why not?
He has to burn his flash. Mike, get caught again.
Little Susie, she's my wife is giving 5 tier 1 subs to you guys, and every time she pays for a sub, she spends $5 of our money, and we get $3.50 back. So she's actually just she is showering you with benevolence. Thank you, Susie. I guess. Spending your sub money to get more subs. God damn it.
It's a 4 versus 4, and Casey on the re-engage. Hand a triple kill.
Got Loki. Thank you for your resubscription to tier 1. I appreciate it.
Position to be the carry for Casey once more.
And they get to answer with this mid lane turn.
I think I did my Filipina mom proud. Managed to convince someone to purchase their first walk. I actually made some. Susie will tell you. I made some banging pork belly adobo recently. Filipino food. It was real good.
Casey could try and take off a little bit more, but he will be able to keep them back. The static shiv at least helping to clear out that wave, but
Volt, what kind of Greek food should I make?
Was crucial, despite the fact Vladdy went down early.
We think back, and it's SK that initiate the fight, and they're able to find a good start to it, but then Blue on
it was I made coconut milk pork belly adobo. It was very rich.
But then when Kana finally arrives, another great shock blast from him means that there's not a huge amount that SK can do. So we see Upset on the flank. He's kind of sitting on the back line, and he's just consistently dealing damage.
Je suis Philippe. I remember your wedding. How's your married life? C'est bon. I am also married for a year.
Yeah, just
congratulations.
Get that ult off onto Luan as well means that he gets all those passive stats.
Musaka. Why don't you Musaka these nuts?
Well
it's great, Susie. My married life is the best. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
See if we can rinse and repeat here with no flash on towards Vladdy for this one.
Upset's ultimate up in 3 seconds time. SK have got the first 2 Drakes of the game. The gold basically even 200 in it. Runans and Static Shiv complete for Upset though, and if he's left in a team fight unscathed, untouched, he will have an absolute field day.
No Warmogs completed for anyone just yet, so Poke's gonna take
the engage immediately. Esmo falls low, able to survive with the twisted advance forward, but there he's down. Closer goes down.
Let's take a look at this team fight. Oh, I guess we just catch Maokai out, and Maokai ults super late. And Zeri cleans everybody up. Very good. And oh, that's a good flash. That is a good flash by Irrelevant, though. Tragically, there's just too many AD carries.
It's 4-2 in favor of Carmine Corp.
It's a double top for a double kill from Vladdy. Absolutely settles the score for KC.
What game did you come from before league casting? Warcraft 3 was the first game I casted. I casted the original Company of Heroes, Rise of Nations, Rise of Legends.
But now Vladdy, the second AD carry, why not have 2? And Vladdy gets 2 on the next support. It's a double so far for Upset. The dive in, though, by Irrelevant is beautiful. Ruthless Predator with the stun.
Yeah, Rahel does get the shutdown as well. But honestly, like, this is just a mistake. This is really indecisive. Like, you have to get the Maokai ult in from range, because when they CC the Maokai like this in the front line, he just gets bursted, and the Maokai ult has no value because the CC time is based off of travel distance. So they don't actually get CC'd for very long, and you miss your opportunity. It is a good flash forward from Irrelevant to, like, save this and kill Upset. But the thing is, there's still 2 more 80 carries. Grubby still streams Warcraft 3. I know Grubby personally. I used to cast Grubby back in the day. I shared a hotel room with Grubby in New York in like 2004.
It was such a close fight until it wasn't. We look at the start and it's Casey
yeah, I know
to
him.
initiate the engage. They focus on the front line. This Maokai looks like he's going to drop instantly, but he's able to buy a little bit more time. Then Irrelevant, he's going to turn his attention onto Upset. Look at Upset as he tries to clean up the fight. The quick flash, the W comes in. He's doing a lot of damage, but here he's now out of juice. He's got nothing left. Niski then falls. The HP attention onto Upset. Look at Upset as he tries to clean up the fight. The quick
Niski E-ing in here is troll though.
flash, the W comes in. He's doing a lot of damage, but here
Like,
he's now
he
out of
can't,
juice. He's
he
got
needs to
nothing
poke
left.
from distance and try and get that kill. Like, he doesn't actually have to die there, I don't think.
And Valley with nice setup from Targamas is able to win out on the fight. Relief from the coaching staff as they deny Soul Point. And KC put themselves in a winning position.
And Rahel just wasn't in the same position to try and go forward because Irrelevant was trying to escape. He had just no front line. So Vladdy able to try and utilize a significantly stronger front line in that one to finish things out. And KC...
Imagine Niski with bow. I know, man. That's what I wanted to see.
In 40 seconds. Both teams, obviously with the double AD carries, can do it particularly fast, but I think it's trying to get control of this area is going to be very difficult, because if you're ever in the pit with like a Maokai ult, Leona ult, even on the opposite side, Targamas being able to get big combos, it's going to be tough for either team to wrangle that.
What he needs is his Manamune. He still hasn't stacked it up yet.
Double AD carries have a large amount of poke. Consistent poke, it can be very powerful, but if you are going to give me a full 5-5 team fight from everyone at full HP, I take the team with Zeri every single time. Like, she's just so powerful. It's not like you have a super hyper carry on the other side. Ezreal and Kai'Sa can put out a lot of damage in a team fight, but if Upset gets a lightning crash down and starts stacking up, he is unstoppable.
But it's also just Zeri's so accelerated.
Yeah.
5 kills already picked up.
Yeah,
She's
Zeri's
moving up towards that third
really
item. It's gonna be
huge.
That Immortal Shield Bow making Upset even harder to kill. LDR going to follow through next. So you're in a spot
Shield
where
bow going to be
you're
really strong too versus Rahel if Rahel tries to all in on the back line.
He's not going for the Warmogs immediately, instead working up towards that Randuin's Omen, so you're not going to have the same kind of Warmog, so any of the poke that we start to see coming through from KC is going to land and stick, versus where you look across KC where you're... Oh, well,
You're playing any games currently, or are you too busy? I was playing a little bit of Stellaris, the Machine Age, recently.
Oh, that's Warmogs. Yeah, that's Warmogs, mate.
The new Stellaris expansion, but, you know, Von the Great. I have toyed with the idea, the very insane idea of playing every Star Wars video game ever made.
They haven't done it once this year, and if they're
Which
going to make it to the season
is a
finals,
psychotic
they're gonna have a
move,
shot.
but I think I've successfully baited Doa into it now.
They need to make it to top 3. Currently fighting for...
In the ultimate marathon.
If they manage to win this game,
So we'll see.
if they win that, they will
I
knock
have
the
to
Dragons out
escape
of
League of
finals
Legends
contention
content first.
and take that spot for their own. And what a story it would be for the team.
That is
entering
hell
the
you're
league,
walking into. There are a lot of good games, man.
10th, really struggling.
There are a lot of good
and
Star
then
Wars games.
Finally turning things back around, building that
So
blue
I
wall
think
with
I've mind controlled Doa into it now.
Of course, walls can come tumbling down. Humpty Dumpty had a fall off one once, and we've never heard the end of it. As Kana trades with Irrelevant.
Does that count the MMO? Okay, so here are the rules. You guys give me feedback. Here are the potential rules for the Star Wars every game ever. Okay, no handheld games. No, like, download-only games on, like, Xbox 360 or shit that I can't get anymore, right? No arcade games. So it has to be accessible. So I can do Atari games because I can actually get those on emulator. So the rules are main console release, PC release only. No MMOs except for the Old Republic single player playthrough, one class only. Yes, emulator is open. Yes, and Steam has like 25 of the games in a one package. That's such a big undertaking. Yes, it is. It is crazy. I understand that it is crazy, but also it's great publicity. And also, some of you guys wouldn't watch it, but there would be a lot of people that would at least tune into like the games that they remembered. And also the amount of content that could come from this is insane. Like, you could literally do tier list of all, when you're done, you do a tier list of all the Star Wars games ever. But on the way, you do like games ranked by console, or games ranked by movie, or games ranked by trilogy. Like which trilogy do they take place in? What are the best games that took place in the timeline of the original trilogy? What is the best RPG? what is the best platformer? You know, ranking the best platformers, ranking the best dogfight games. You know what I mean? Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, my childhood. Exactly. And I'd have to play it. So the Old Republic is definitely worth a playthrough. I've heard that it's actually very good. What class to play is a hard choice. People say Operative is the class to play. I will 100% watch Knights of the Old Republic. Yeah, exactly. You'd watch more than that. Fucking Rebel Assault. There are a lot of bangers, man. But I think people are tired of shit Star Wars content. And I will say this, guys. The games have been better Star Wars than the movies since Return of the Jedi. Knights of the Old Republic, Jedi Knights, or Jedi Survivor, Jedi Outcast, all of these are better. Yeah, Force Unleashed. Dude, there's a bunch of really good games, actually. Best story, The Imperial Agent in the Old Republic. Is that Operative? Because that's the one people were telling me. Lego Star Wars? Yeah, of course. What do you think about the new Star Wars game that's made by the same people that made Detroit Become Human? I'm excited. I like Detroit Become Human. There are NES games here. There's actually a Wikipedia list of all Star Wars video games. Here, somebody count these while I'm reviewing the rest of this VOD. How much you planning on playing Battlefront? I don't know. Here. There's a list of Star Wars video games. Somebody count up main console releases. I mean, I think Outlaws looks fun, the new game that's coming out. No arcade games. Atari, okay, because I have to be able to find them. NES, okay. SNES, okay. No handheld, so no Game Boy. If it's Game Boy only or handheld only, the answer is no. Do you plan to finish the storyline of each game? Yes, they must be beaten. They must be beaten. These are the rules. Well, I do Racer. Isn't that the pod racing game? That game owns on 64. That game was great.
By brick. Of course, walls can come tumbling down. Humpty Dumpty had a fall off on
that game. No, Star Wars Eclipse is confirmed. I'm pretty sure the Quantic Dreams game. I'm pretty sure.
The power of the killer instinct from SK.
Really nice punish from SK. These type of picks are really valuable for them, especially because they alleviate some of the side lane pressure that Kano is able to exert on the Jace. Casey, they found a good fight.
But it's not going to come out till like 2027.
The gold is very even. You look between the AD carries, and now Rahel actually has a small lead in terms of the individual matchup. Itemization, they are.
Have I watched the Dragon Prince? No.
You've got to bear in mind the gold is very even. You look between the AD carries, and now Rahel actually has a small lead in terms of the individual.
The Death Star sim management, dude. I'm low-key super psyched for Star Wars Rebellion, which was a Space 4X strategy game that I remember playing when I was like in high school or whatever.
Very close, and it only continues to build the tension as we get closer to our fourth dragon of the game.
And this is where Rahel has kind of hit critical mass. Having that Nashor's Tooth in his inventory as well means he gets the upgraded W, so he's going to be able to look for a poke like this. If he lands the second one here as well,
what's my opinion on Andor? It's a banger. Andor's really good. Andor is the best thing that has been made in Star Wars on TV or film since the original trilogy. It is good. Actually good.
Here comes the poke. ultimate from Niski going to go wide, but that is going to connect on the target.
3 for 3.
I feel like we've seen this before.
I'm always surprised when I watch Rahel on Kaiser that Vanguard doesn't pop up.
Bruh, no shot. No, I'm sorry. That's the correct opinion.
Gross, because a lot of them are off vision as well. Like you see Closer walk into this
That's the
bush,
correct
but you don't know
opinion.
exactly where he is. Niski showed
But you know he dies? Well, Van the Great, you must fucking hate the prequel trilogy then, because you know Darth Vader dies. What kind of logic is that?
you can miss skill shots on someone who's in the fog of war.
Wow, you must hate... I mean, there's probably different... I haven't seen Obi-Wan, but there's probably different reasons to hate Obi-Wan, but you must hate Obi-Wan because you know he dies.
As a Closer doesn't quite have
Literally everything about Star Wars is you know who dies.
Side of combat that he would like. Another one hits.
That's 5
from Rahel.
Good vision setup for SK here as Dragon spawns. You can see
Oh, Van, do you like Boba Fett in the Mandalorian? Oh, you know he dies.
wards in the back of Dragon Pit to spot out if Kana was trying to get any sort of flank. But
You like Rogue One? Well, you know they all die.
Like another one hits.
What?
5 from Rahel.
What?
Vision setup for SK here as Dragon spawns. You can see wards in the back of Dragon Pit to spot out if Kana was trying to get any sort of flank, but we're going.
Glacial Prison going out. Isma goes back in with a Nature's Grasp, gets the Rootons Closer.
All right, so we're trying to get the engaged onto Maokai again before he can have a meaningful ult here. The range advantage definitely to SK at this point in time without Kana here, but when Kana gets there, I mean, the poke can be pretty severe for between culling and... All right, they get a much better kite this time, SK.
Shot Blast goes wide.
Closer though. The ultimate connects onto upsets. Closer wants to get a base off as quickly as he can. Niski's just being a bit of a pain. They're sending Rahel to go and solo the dragon.
KC's engage is still more threatening though. Targamas with the flash combo and still having his ult up means that it's a little bit stronger than Luan, just hoping for a Zenith blade. So still you have to be careful here as SK continue to just look for the poke, and that's all they're doing, just keeping people interested on this top side as Rahel is able to solo out the dragon.
That's soul point for SK as well. An Ocean Soul, when you have this much poke, can be pretty good, especially if you can find a way to disengage the fight. It becomes much more reliant on KC making their damage stick.
The tension continues to mount. We approach 25 minutes into the game. Soul point now for SK.
Don't donate to me, Van the Great. It's fine. I appreciate your sub. Don't donate.
Very cautious about.
It's not necessary.
This Baron can die very fast, and it's KC who have control in terms of vision. The side lanes being addressed by a
The cleanup, though, from Carmine Corp is pretty crazy. And again, the Renekton is useless. I do appreciate that Renekton did go Sterix Gage, or not Sterix Gage, Stridebreaker, Randuin's in this game, because he actually might be somewhat useful. But it's so hard, especially when he has flash down to do anything.
The shorter lane here will keep him safe, whereas you're investing in Rahel.
I have heard Psychopass is good.
Now we can start
The
to
anime.
cross, but he does have to be a little careful.
I think I watched the first couple episodes when it was released many years ago.
Binds him in the column, puts him in the dirt. Isma with a Nature's Grasp buys himself a second irrelevant TP'd in here. Will be spotted. He's on a control ward.
I haven't seen Logan, unfortunately. I know I need to watch it.
There's no need for him to go anywhere near that brush. KC now going to finally secure this tower. I wonder if they'll threaten the Baron. They got the
keep him safe, whereas you're investing in Rahel.
All right, Niski thinks that he's the ward clearer. Ah, yes. The old Niski face checkerino. Yep. You know, what's the point? Actually, you know what's crazy is they actually don't have Warmogs because Isma built Randuin second, and Warmogs isn't finished on Luan yet. So they don't have a Warmogs to check brushes at 25 minutes, which is very devastating on this patch.
With a Nature's Grasp buys himself a second irrelevant TP'd in here. Will be spotted. He's on a control ward.
Huge mistake. I can't believe he would ever consider face checking that.
Yeah, that is insane that he face checks that though.
To go anywhere near that brush. KC now going to finally secure this tower. I wonder if they'll threaten the Baron. They got the TP out from Irrelevant as well. All things looking up for KC.
They'll keep the pressure, but I think they're more looking to link up.
Did you know blue trinkets are better off unused? Yeah, actually, they actually gain power the longer you don't use them. If you don't use them for 5 minutes, they turn into a super ward. Little known feature.
I do think that might have been a...
Am I in the US? I'm in Korea right now.
As many AD carries as they have, I think that could have been the bot tier 2 gone, but still stealing away a lot of these camps from SK is definitely going to help to minimize the impact that Isma is as he starts to move on forward here.
There's always the threat of Niski TPing into a ward that you haven't cleared out because you're moving so quickly between the lanes as well. I agree with you, though.
Are you worried about the Ezreal flank?
I'm worried about any flank in a game like this because...
Yes, I don't acknowledge this on stream. I will acknowledge your comment, Funky Pharaoh, by saying this.
If you make a mistake.
Yes, I don't. I am old and curmudgeonly and a boomer, and no, I don't like having relationships with teenagers or early 20-year-old pro players.
One day I'm going to find out that I've been using it
It's not what I don't really want to spend my life talking to them, you know what I mean?
So I don't use it anymore.
Beneficiary and benefactor.
Yeah, well, please don't get us on that one.
Alright, on mid though, look at closer.
Goes in, only hits Isma, but Isma bursts down, even with the twisted advance, he's still already down. The stun landing on Irrelevant as well as Rahel has to kill him instinct across the fight. Carmine Corp already found two.
Alright, let's take a look at this engage to start things off.
So I don't use it anymore.
Beneficiary and benefactor.
Yeah, well, please don't get us on that one.
Alright, on mid though, look at closer.
Just straight engage onto Maokai again. They've done a really good job of just stun locking this Maokai. He doesn't even get his ult off this time. And the cleanup is just insane.
The AD carries remain standing, but what can they do without their front line? SK, can they fight back?
That is a massive team fight win for KC. Their target.
I mean, I think Casey realizes that if the Maokai doesn't ult, then there is literally nothing that SK can do in these fights because they can just slow roll the fight immediately afterwards because they're just tankier in the front line and they have so much mobility to just run and clean up everything. And Irrelevant doesn't do anything in that fight because he's fucking Renekton.
AD carries remain standing, but what can they do without their front line? SK, can they fight back?
That is a massive team fight win for KC. Their target is the front line, and they just melt Isma. Immediately, SK is forced to play defensively, and it costs them 3. The Baron will be secured for KC, and they take firm control over Game 3.
There's nothing that SK could do. Isma gets caught, and you already said it, they just melt. We'll see it here. The engage coming through from closer. Nicely set up here. Swinging on through, and the poke from Upset and Kana manages to just connect on towards Isma. They immediately burst them out.
Why do EU love Renekton? Dude, the whole world fucking loves Renekton. It's not just EU. It's trash in LCK too, and everybody plays it. I just think it's straight bad in this meta.
The tankiness of the Carmine Corp front line just outmatching anything that SK can deliver. It's Ranju in second for Isma as well. Doesn't have that Warmogs yet, but there's only really physical damage on the side of Carmine.
But why just pick Gnar? Because dude, it's a fake champ. I mean, Edward and Spawn, who are both professional coaches, have been in here talking about the Renekton pick, and basically the answer is it just like snowballs scrim super hard, and like it can make bad teams win games sometimes. But I mean, a lot of the early picking is just like so silly, and you really have to wonder because what was the purpose? Look at this. I'll just show you. Kana, his second most played champ of all time is Jace. Look, he plays Renekton and he plays Jace. Look at this. Renekton, Jace, Gnar. So if you look, this is why it's so crazy. So what are his top 4 champions? So if you first pick Renekton, he can play Jace, Gnar, or Kennen into you. Why would you pick Renekton? Like, do you know who Kana is? Do you think Sejuani brings more Renekton into drafts? Yes. Also, obviously, Nidalee being good brings more Renekton into draft.
They're just going to completely barrel down.
But, you know, pro play, I just don't see it very often right now where Renekton gets such a massive snowball that he dictates the pace of the game. It does happen occasionally, but it's like, it doesn't seem reliable, so why do it?
So while they did secure a tower, it was always going to be harder to siege onto that next one. Kana now being sent to go catch this wave.
How does Nid increase Renekton viability? Because you have an AP jungler, and because Renekton Nidalee synergy is crazy, it's a really strong 2v2 because you guarantee spear landing by hitting W.
To get towards the tier 2s this Baron buff. The Drake secured.
And then Nidalee gap closes, and then you're standing next to Nidalee and Renekton, and you die.
They've made a net 300 gold from it because, of course, you get 1.5k just for taking the buff itself. But they get a Drake.
It's very strong.
And they get control of the game.
The other nice thing, I mean, there's many reasons. The other nice thing is Renekton tends to get lane prio in a lot of matchups, so Nidalee can invade easier, and you can help Nidalee, and you can fight around grubs, and like, there's a lot of reasons.
Pushing into top 4, one series potentially away from reaching our season finals. It starts with trying to push SK back. We still need to try and close this out cleanly. Kana, he's going to push in top wave, so the tier 2
is Elise viable? I mean, I think Elise may be somewhat viable, but the problem is there's just way better AP junglers that clear much faster, that provide huge late game damage. Like Brand and Zyra are just so crazy in the late game.
Looking for that flank position, Kana a long way back. Solar Flare. Oza caught up in the nature's grasp.
Elise also just falls
really
off.
Connecting from SK. Have to remember the changes Carmine Corp made coming into summer as well.
And if you're gonna play Elise, like, just play Elise in, you know what I mean?
Now, they're the ones helping carry them perhaps to top 4. Targamas down to about a third HP. A shock blast hits 4, and everyone falls down to half HP.
Tower's gonna drop. SK don't have the resources just in time for the Baron to disappear as well. KC, in an ideal world, they would have been able to break the base, but the wave clear from SK was enough to hold them back. I will say that KC's mainly been overstacking, which, in terms of their siege, not ideal. I think they really should be moving Kana off onto a side lane and then have him push and then regroup with his team. Regardless, they get 2 towers. It's likely that we're going to be playing for another Baron. 4 items now being completed for AD carries. 5th.
Have I done a new champ review YouTube video? What do you mean champ review?
An incredibly strong position.
I don't think I've ever done a champ review YouTube video.
The gold advantage is gained for KC means that they're about half an item to an item ahead of their counterparts. And this is going to be crucial for the upcoming fight. But gold will mean less and less as we go later into the game, as more builds become complete and it all comes down to execution. But right now it's KC who are controlling the narrative of this game. Flash in.
Poser looking for Niski, who flashes away himself. The Culling's
Alright, Niski, you're gonna get chain CC'd and not die. Alright, Rahel on the back line. Niski's so low though. Look at this Renekton's so useful, guys. Look at how useful this Renekton is. Imagine if this Renekton was something like, I don't know, Cassante. So Niski takes a fuck ton of damage because he gets caught out. Closer's like, wait, this guy's shooting me? I'll just flash on him. And force his flash and stun him. And we knock him up with Alistar. And we're coming in. So Upset does have to blow his cleanse really early on in the fight, and Rahel sees the angle on the backside. But look at the Irrelevant. What is he supposed to be doing? He gets 1 stun off onto Kana, gets knocked back, and then now he's like flashing on top of Vladdy, but he just gets auto-spaced to death. Renekton's so poop. Niski should not have been caught out there. These couple of catches on Niski have been really painful. Like, he has to clean up that fight, but he has no sums because he got caught out and he's half HP.
Rahel couldn't do it. Irrelevant couldn't do it. Niski could not do it. But now the question rises, can Carmine Corp do it? How high can this team rise?
Can Luon delay them long enough? Not
You know, soundboard of the last seat, fine.
Irrelevant manages to find 1. It's 3v2. Black dashing away from the Renekton. Closer there on the front line still. Niski trying to get him from the side, but Carmine Corp have found Corp. Niski jump forward. Niski jump.
God just flashes on him.
Carmine Corp buried him with the rest of their team, and they can see the match next week against BDS in their sights.
Rahel couldn't do it. Irrelevant couldn't do it. Niski could not do it. But now the question rises, can Carmine Corp do it? How high can this team rise?
Can Luon
Yeah, Casey has been good at punishing mistakes. I mean, this is a much more decisive team as a unit. Like, honestly, Targamas is following up on a lot of these engages super well. He looks a lot better.
Wall is growing ever taller. to play BDS next week.
Carmine Corp will secure top.
Good for Carmine Corp. They have an opportunity to do the funniest thing, which is make season finals based off of championship points. So it's between them and Giant X right now. So they have to make top 3 is the thing. So Carmine Corp, it's getting rough out there. So they got to beat BDS because GX is out right now. So Carmine Corp has to make it to the next stage. They must beat BDS in order to make... I mean, it'd be fun to have them, honestly, in the season playoffs. I mean, they looked a lot better. I'd rather watch them than a lot of the other teams right now. Right? So they've got 90. Oh, do they have to make top 2, actually? Oh, no. Top 3 auto-qualify. That's the rule. The top 3 teams of summer. So it's not even based off of championship points because they would have 120. But it's because the top 3 from summer auto-qualify as well as the remaining teams. So they have to make top 3. That's how this works. So it's not based off championship points. They would just knock them out and they'd be 6th place, basically, based on the standings. And I think Heretics is already out because even though they've tied Giant X, Giant X got more points in summer, which I believe is the tiebreaker rule if you have even points. So they stack it for recency bias. Yeah, they're way better than Giant X. Which LEC teams do you enjoy watching the most? I mean, G2, probably BDS, but not BDS recently. Will EU and NA fight for 4th spot at Worlds again this year? No, I think they got rid of that, right? They got rid of that, which is too bad because I thought it was really fun, honestly. All right. Well, guys, thanks for watching. I'm going to take a bit of a break. 3 hours from now, we have SI, so you can wait until then. See you then.